know, suppose on this profile they say the nature of this account is to fund terrorism. No, I mean, nobody's ever said it, you know. Or I need some guns for the Israeli army and,
Yeah, no.
right? What else? Remember we talked about the person who did the technology for the pawn platform. What about him? We opening up that account?
No.
Why?
Why?
But he's going to be considered high risk.
Okay, but why do we need to know this purpose? Because we need to ensure that it's a part of our, that we have a,
Risk
This
framework.
framework.
yeah, and we have an appetite for this type of business, right? And we need to know if we have an appetite for this type of business, because if we do indeed have this appetite, what do we put in place? There you go. And what do these controls for?
Mitigate the risk.
Okay, very good, so. Oh, no. Yeah, very good. I'm very impressed today. Very excellent. Okay, good. So that's customer due diligence in a nutshell. Okay. If this account, like you all said, is possibly can be a high risk account. If it was high risk, what type of controls would be put in place if it was high risk? Morning, Juanita. Welcome.
The board would sign off on any
Yeah.
transactions on that.
And monitor the account.
Count, it would be monitored more frequently. What else?
Set a limitation on potential activity like deposits.
Right, so we could get red flags and look into it more closely. What else? Suppose this was a PEP, and if we didn't get this KYC, if we didn't know this was the president of Russia, we see the name Putin, but we don't think that this is the Bahamas now, but Putin, you know, in the offshore world, we don't think that this Vladimir Putin from, you know, we don't think this is the president of Russia. Because how many people name Vladimir Putin in Russia? A lot. Those Russian names are very common. I worked at an institution where we had, I think three persons from Kazakhstan that had the same name. You know, so okay, you're all familiar, you all have the same thing. So this is why we need to know our customers, right? And not only that, we had a director the other day that got arrested for some type of fraud, but we didn't have his middle name. And with the same KYC, as far as, you know, for companies, we get the beneficial owners, we get the signees on the account. In the past, they used to say, well, suppose they had 10 directors, we would verify 2 of them, right? So verifying 2 of them mean we got full KYC for 2, and the other 8 that we just trusted that they were legitimate persons. We would have ran their names through the systems, through the world checks and what have you, and nothing came up. We'd be like, okay, they straight, right? But what happened was one of those directors got arrested, and we only had the first and the last name. We did not have the passport. We did not have, right. And so when we spoke to Central Bank, because again, we dealing with sales officers who saying, don't make this any more stringent. Oh my God, you're already getting the information, the KYC for 2. Please don't ask for all 10, right? And so they was fighting against us, but of course, as compliance officers, and now we faced with this person could possibly be arrested in Mexico, but we cannot verify because we didn't get KYC on him because it was not required. I think Central Bank in this last update has said you get the KYC on all, but we could go through the guidelines and we could read it to see if they increase it. And then remember now, the Canadians are more conservative, the Swiss are less. So of course in the Canadian banks, before Central Bank even said get it on all, at Royal Bank you got it on all. Get it on their sisters and brothers and their family members if you could get it on all. But the Swiss of course said, oh no, 2? You can get it on 1 and that should be sufficient, right? It just depends on what institution you work for, right? And go ahead. Oh, okay. So that is the importance of KYC. If something happens, or when you need to file an SDR. There are certain questions that you have to fill out on that SDR, and you won't be able to answer that, as we were not able to answer it, because we did not have the middle name. And they had the middle name on the internet. This person has been arrested, but we couldn't confirm. At that time that the fraud has been committed, do you think we could call that director up, and if he was indeed the person that was arrested, and say, hey buddy, before you go to jail, right? Send us a copy. You know what I mean? Can we do it at that point?
No.
No, so this is why it's important at onboarding, right? And if you work in the offshore world, sometimes you open up accounts for governments, you open up accounts for large corporations, and somebody's on vacation, somebody just got married and didn't change their name, so central bank allows you an exception. That exception is 30 days, meaning that I got the majority of the KYC, or what you call the legislative documents. And remember when we looked in central bank guidelines, there is a shall and a must, or must and a may. So everything that says must is considered the legislative documents. And you will find that salespersons will be on you. I got all the legislative documents, so we can't go to jail, and the regulators can't go on, you know what I mean, find us or anything. But these documents, it says shall, or you may get these things. And I know it's about our policy, so I'm going to use the 30 days to get the remainder of the items, right? And so they exercise the use of the 30 days. So what happens? They never, ever, once that account open, and that money on that account, you'll see those wires flying back and forth. You can't ever, especially with wealthy persons, it's the most difficult thing in the world to get anything from them after that account is open. And so what do they create? They create an administrative nightmare, because they have a quota. Let's say a part of their quota is you have to open up 10 accounts with $10 million, what have you. So they're trying to make their quota. So after that first account is open, and it only has the mandatory legislative documents, they go into the next account to open, and they come in with another story there. And so now, administratively, who is following up? Is it a lot of teams, companies don't have vetting departments or tracking departments? Because now, at the end of the year, you would have opened, say, 120 accounts, and 90 of them have outstanding documents. So have you not created an administrative nightmare to try and track those documents, to get them to sign where they were supposed to sign? Because one director was in Spain, one was in Jamaica, one was in Russia, and so each of them signed their own documents. So you have 3 files. You have the signatures there, but it should be combined. So there's all sorts of mishaps, all sorts of things that happen. Somebody's passport expired, somebody didn't miss a signature page, somebody, there's always a story. You don't have this experience?
Yes, we do, but then it's like, I guess because it's on a smaller scale, because I'm locking that account, you have to come in. However, if you don't come in, then you can't use your
not
account.
when you have $10 million on
And
that
that's why I'm
account.
saying.
You're not gonna
it's
like
like
that.
small account.
Yeah.
But Ms. Bullet, even, I guess, from what she's saying too, from a retail point of view, you have persons who say, I could bring it back, and they
Never.
and then when you, like you say, lock the account or put a loan on the account, or they have an attitude, oh, I will close my account.
Right,
But you didn't-
right.
You know, and that's why I say to our senior staff, don't open it. Don't
I
even
agree.
open it. If they don't
I
have
agree,
it,
'cause
don't
we-
even
I
open
would
it.
open an
We don't
account.
even, thank you, we don't even
Bring
accept
everything
it.
back, I verify that they have all the
Right.
stuff and bring everything
Everything
back.
back. Yeah.
Once you
So
have everything.
retail is very good at that. In the wealth management world, it's very competitive. You know what I mean? Let's just say you finally get an opportunity to sit down with Barack Obama to open up this account. You could tell Barack Obama that I can freeze your account if you don't bring your passport in 30 days. Because the first thing they can say is, I'm the Prime President of the United States of America, everybody knows me.
Understood, but then there's still policies and procedures.
Yeah, but, and
So
and
just
guess what,
make
this
sure
is
you have
required around in the world. There's nowhere in the world you could go and open up this account and not have those
That's what I'm
requirements met.
saying, so just in a polite way, before the account is even open, let him know everything that he needs to bring.
I'm certain that our sales people do that. However, it just doesn't work that way. That would sound perfect, but it doesn't work that way, because remember now, the best way to do it is let the salesperson go out there and do the dinners and the lunches and all the cushiness, and then say, our administrative team will call you later, so let them be the monsters, and you know what I mean, then you could appease the person, oh my God, I can't believe they asked you for all that stuff, you know, but it is required. But you create an administrative nightmare for the compliance department or the vetting department. But the vetting department has to be vigilant, they have to have their controls in place, and they have to follow up, and they have to follow through. Or eventually, they will have to block the account. Now the best way is, I used to tie at bonus time, I used to slap my deficiency list right onto their performance appraisals. You would have gotten $10,000, however, 90% of your customers have deficient KYC. In our last audit, we got a 1B rating as high because all your accounts were deficient. Excellent on the sales, you bought in $20 million, however, you know, and so what do you think they do? Right, oh, you never see KYC? Listen, November, every account up to date. I mean, and they now on your side saying, oh my God, I can't believe Barack didn't send it, and you know what I mean? I'm gonna fly there, I'm gonna, what have you. So this is what you have to do. So you have to find a creative way to get that salesperson to go out in the field and collect that, those documents. But industry-wide, when I attended the risk management seminar, central bank said industry-wide they've seen deficient KYC all across the board. When we talk about W8s and W9s, because we all know what they are, tell me.
Sorry. That's the forms you fill out for, FATCA.
Yeah, you're right, FACA, but, so the US citizens fill out a W9, and foreign internationals or foreign nationals fill out a W8, right? And so, I think there's a law, I think there was a law, I'm not certain, but the Canadians can't invest in the US market or something like that if they don't have a certain waiver or what have you. And so when I gave this Canadian client the W8 to fill out, he filled it out and he said, I'm a citizen of the Bahamas, right? Which he was moving, and he had just inherited a lot of money from his grandparents, and so he decided, I'm gonna move to the Bahamas and what have you. Y'all remember those straw markets when straw vendors that went into New York and bought all the Prada and what have you, and they got arrested? But he did the same thing, and he got arrested. So here it is, the IRS or whomever, for tax purposes or whatever, said, please send us a copy of his KYC. We're trying to track him, there's a criminal investigation, right? And so they sent out all this information, and it's noted that he have some securities, because they was like, freeze all assets, and we said, well, we'll have to sell these securities and what have you, and it came about that it was in the US market, and he didn't have that waiver. So of course we pulled out the WA. They said, what was the authority that you had to sell him securities in the US market? And we said, oh, we have a WA, and he's not, even though he is Canadian born, he is a Bahamian resident, he has applied for citizenship and he was granted it. So they said, okay, send us a copy of that. So of course we go to the file, oh my God, where is it? We never got it, right? And so here it is now, we call him on the phone, we said, sir, immediately, because now we have to block this account. We're gonna have to block your account if you don't send us a copy of your Bahamian residency. Guess what he said? Oh, I applied, but they denied me. I never got back to you.
What?
So of course, Royal Bank of Canada got charged with collusion, right?
Yeah, oh my God.
Because we open up this account, He was accepting the money for all his Prada and his Gucci and all this stuff that he was selling. Investing in the US market, he did not have the waiver or whatever it was. And we have the W-8 form here that says, I'm Bahamian,
I'm Bahamian, but nothing to
no
prove.
residency. So again, that's a part of the KYC where the team, the vetting team that we did not have at that time, was supposed to follow up on, I guess the salesperson is following up on any compliance done on the 800 account after that. So hence the vetting team was born out of this fine that we had to pay, right? Then they took it seriously, then they realized that, hey, it's not only the passports expire and the bill doesn't match what they wrote or what have you. It could actually cause us fines if we don't follow through on these things. Okay, so be careful, especially if you're in the offshore world. Now that FATCA and CRS is about, it's harder to do something like that. I mean, I'm sure you have a FATCA team or somebody who compliance will deal with the vetting and checking. But those forms need to be checked, especially if you have a securities arm, because these people put whatever they can put to pay the lower tax. Okay, you have to actually make them verify it. Okay, and ensure that you can't just accept, oh. And I'm sure at that time nobody even asked. He put BAM and we say, okay, fine, he can invest. However, yeah, that's what happened. So that's the importance of KYC. Things like that can happen. Okay? Another importance is after you get all this KYC, remember we had somebody who stole a letterhead, went to the bank, said that just a messenger now, he is the authorized signatory on the account. So every time he picked up a check, he deposited to that account and he was cashing all the checks. So finance is now calling all these people and saying, you're gonna be charged finance charges and late fees and whatever. And they pulled their records and they said, hey, we paid you 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago, you know? So $100,000 later, they found out that this account was fraudulent. And of course, you know, there was no resolution to open the account by the board. There was no seal on that resolution. There was no, so all of these are controls that we put in place. And a lot of persons find it to be very tedious. They say there's no longer the ease of doing business, right? But when there's ease of doing business, there you go. There you go. So we don't just put all these controls in place because we want to be difficult and we know the regulation is expensive and we want to deter people from opening up accounts. All of these, and we are a very reactive world, not even nation. So of course, all of these stipulations were born out of fines and frauds and people going to jail. Experiences, right? Even after we get, like with all the wires and the KYC, you know, we verify the signature. And in the securities world, sometimes it's very time sensitive. Or even in any, you know, I have to pay for this invoice so it can be shipped in time or whatever. So you have clients on the phone, I need this right away. This is my staff's payroll. This is my that, or what have you, right? And so what do? We are supposed to take that form, and because from the KYC, there should be a signature card somewhere. And there should be an authorized signatory. So a lot of people are busy and they travel all around, so they let their secretary sign. And if you match it up, you'll see that it doesn't match. And so one guy said, yeah, I allowed her to sign, and she signed all those, but I had to fire her for stealing. So I want all that money that she authorized to be paid out to be put back to my account. But so you just told us that you let us sign on you, but we were still wrong. Because we were supposed to go and check that signature and verify that it was the same. And in some cases it wasn't, right? Not only that, we were supposed to, at Royal Bank, somebody stood behind somebody on the line, overheard their conversation, went and followed them, broke into their car and stole their briefcase, what have you, something had the signature on it and an email. the guy went home, created the same email, like tbullet1800@gmail.com. tbullet18000@gmail.com. Sent that to the Royal Bank and said, this is urgent, I need this wire going out right now, $7 million. The manager got fired, the assistant manager, all the tellers, everybody was involved. The person who, the treasury even got fired because they were supposed to check before they released that type of money to the account to be sent out. The whole Royal Bank Life was fired. Twice. Okay, over false emails and over persons rushing.
Somebody says
Fraud.
more case of not checking.
It's not checking
sufficiently.
the KYC. And another control that came out of those firings or that fraud case, there's a callback required. Right? You,
We had an instance, a customer came into the bank, and I think he had the same name, he had identification and everything, but it wasn't his, it wasn't even his account.
and so they know that from just standing on the line. Remember, people who commit fraud, they prey on our ignorance, they know how busy we are, they wait till the government paydays and be overwhelmed, and they stand on the line just to eavesdrop.
He had to get a flight.
Okay, and they rush us, and then, right. So, the relationship manager who was supposed to do the call back on that, argued that, oh, the person was in a hurry, and they said blah, 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 and they would miss this and that, and he argued. Another one, it was $147,000. Again, buy this share right away, blah, 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 before the price change and what have you. $147,000 gone. Because of that callback. And then you look closely and you see the zero missing. Or the extra zero there in the email, and you say, oh my God. Because we give them a form that says we're allowed to accept emails and fax. And so you could accept the email and fax from tbullet1800@gmail.com. But did anybody see that last zero? No. Because we rushing, we were working, we just signed. 7 people gone home. Okay? And so this is the importance of KYC. This is why this due diligence has to be carried out. This is why it has to be maintained and stay up to date, because people prey on us being overworked and underpaid and frustrated, and salespeople needing to book this sale to meet my target, and they know all these things, and they defraud the system. A lot of staff defraud the system because they know it. They say they can take them 10 years to figure this out, and I'll be long gone. You know, I plant the money in the ground and go spend my 5 years in jail, or get to see it and get off on a technicality and then live life. Right? So please be vigilant. Please be careful. You know, too, it's a very competitive world. You have to balance compliance with sales, because if nothing opens, then you make no money, and then nobody gets paid, right? But you have to be vigilant, right? You have to keep abreast of the latest types of typologies. Everybody know what typologies are. The ways that, you know, are the different systems that they use to defraud institutions. So typology is a word you should know. And I think in some of the last chapters we'll talk about it. Different system, the ways that they use to defraud the financial services sector. So they would say, discuss a trust typology with me, and then you would talk about a case or scenario where they use a trust account to defraud the system. There is, at the back, if you look at these papers, it says typology 1, 2, 3 different cases on, you know, yeah. So, if you saw this on the exam, the same question on the board, it would say, discuss a fraud typology. I just put cases and the outcome of the investigations. So, imagine this, last semester, walking into the final exam, this was the mandatory question. Okay? You see how many points it were?
So each typology is aligned with specific cases,
Yeah.
and you can be asked a question that will lead us to actually know which typology it falls under.
Yeah, well, the Eggman group. First of all, we know who the Eggman group is.
Yeah, we read that.
Yeah. So the Eggman group is the group of financial FIUs around the world, financial intelligence unit that come together to discuss. Let's see what affects Europe. Let's see what affects the Caribbean, or what type of cases. You know what I mean? Bring out the most fraud, bring out terrorism. Who's supporting what? And so that helps them to, I guess, manage crime. You know, if they actually know what's happening in our area. Like the Bahamas, I know we got hit with the FACA mutual evaluation, where they said that we needed to beef up our laws in regards to terrorism. However, terrorism other than September 11, we haven't had like domestic terrorism, or I mean, I don't know the incident in where was it, Montel Heights, 14 people. You know, but that wasn't, I think that was just we have the spirit of retaliation, so that was more something like that. That wasn't somebody who was killing because of ID, right, yeah. So, but other than that, yeah. But we still were required to beef up our laws and make sure that if they do feel that, hey, I could go back to the Bahamas and use them to carry out another September 11, that, they could be prosecuted. Okay? So, our KYC will help us to mitigate these risks, right? We can't eliminate it. And by all means, the only way for you to keep out of jail when these people use you to commit these crimes, what's the only way for you to stay out of jail and not be charged with collusion?
To be a whistleblower.
Yeah, when you open up that folder and you share it with the FIU, that better be up to date. Those things better be in place. That passport copy better be legible.
All the documents.
Okay, because you will see when you do a investigation, you will see everything will now tie into place. Like, remember I told you my best teller. Oh, I didn't love her. She was excellent. I gave her all the awards for best teller. Yeah, this and that and the next thing. Always working overtime, always giving extra, always there back. She's the one who steal from all the persons who couldn't speak English properly, the Haitian nationals. All the blind man, $70,000 from the blind man who used to come and have tea with us every morning. His daughter would bring him, go, let him have tea, and he'll sit there and talk to all us till 12 o'clock. She'd pick him up lunchtime and take him back home. That was his daily, especially with month when senior citizens get paid. Everybody knew him. Pensioners. That was their, little hangout spot, air conditioning, free tea and conversation. And $70,000. Okay? But when I pulled her transactions, every single one, we had a lot of people, we were Key West Street and Montel Heights. We had a lot of people that signed X and did the fingerprint. Every one of those transactions. So what happened is their sons or daughters would fill out the withdrawal slip for them, and when they got in the front of us, we'd take their fingerprint and let them sign X. Every single one was crossed out. So if the daughter said 200, she put 500. Everyone. So how is it that, first of all, you serve all these people you don't have a special lineup, like I have a special lineup for senior citizens. You don't have a special lineup. These people stood on the line and every single one came to you. Because what happens is, when we see Miss So-and-so who sign us, we're like, oh God, I ain't dealing with her today. I can take her.
She's nice and smiling and you
let us stand to the side. Because again, I'm the best teller. And this is why I'm going to get my award. That's because that will cost her $300 extra.
Yep.
And I tell you, when I pulled everyone was crossed out and initialed for more money, never less. The same Haitian guy that came in and said, I did not withdraw this money. I say, sir, you have to tell me what happened. He couldn't speak English, I couldn't speak Creole. And so he lost like $50,000,
Wow.
you know, and I felt so bad, and I told them, hey, let's pull his transactions and see. He saw the same thing. But at that time, he had given up. We had never seen him again. We could not reach him because he had just left it because he had lost all his money. You know, and for years I said one day he's gonna come back. And as long as I'm here, I'm gonna write head office and say, please, give this. He tried to explain to me. You know, but if I was him, I would have go learn English. I was ready to learn Creole, just, you know what I mean? Or bring a translator or something.
Yeah, but they become very,
Yeah.
a lot of customers become very, very trusting, I realize,
Yeah.
and allowing you to do everything. I mean, we have some clients who will tell you, we don't know anything and you must do it all, basically.
Mhm, yes.
And they don't
And
even
oh,
double check.
Right.
And God forbid if the person who they were working with gets sick or leaves the organization, then sometimes is when you find out that certain things that was not supposed to be happening was happening.
Let me tell you another experience that I had. One of our most wealthiest clients, he had about $100 million in total with us. Not even on the wealth management side, on the retail side, right out of the straw market. Okay? He was terrified of the money. And he used to get checks coming in, $10,000 from C5, from this insurance, from all his investments all over. And he used to come sit in my office and he said, Miss Bullard, please, I need $10,000. Don't count it out, don't do anything. Put it in an envelope, put it in a brown paper bag, and just give it to me. I said, but sir, you in my office, my door closed. I said, can you not realize that I will lose my job? He said, Miss Bullard, please, if you steal from me, it's okay.
Wow.
I just do, and I mean, he was terrified. Okay? He used to give the security his car key, wherever he parked in the parking lot. The security used to park his car to the door, and when he literally ran from my office to his car and pulled off. He was terrified of that money. Terrified. And this was back in 2007-ish, 6. Like, so the debit card wasn't, you don't swipe for everything or whatever, so, but he was terrified. And I used to always get somebody else, and I said, please count this money with me, because I could make a mistake.
Yeah.
I said, but if this man ever comes back and says $1 missing, $100 million, I was going home. All he had to do was say. So I say, okay, hold on 1 minute. I go in the kitchen and looking for a garbage bag to put this money in, and I say, come, sign with me so at least I'll have, and that you all know, I put all of that on his profile, that the customer is terrified and what have you. But then, I took it out of the system because I said, anybody could come behind me and read this. So I printed it out, I put it in an envelope, and I sealed it on his file, I put confidential. Because imagine the person who is the thief reading that. Oh, he's terrified of this money. He don't want you to count it out. Oh, he is my man. He have $100 million. Oh, he's my man. You know? So, yeah, God rest his soul. But he was a very sweet man, and he had made all his money from the straw market.
He made $100 million from the straw market.
From the straw market. From the straw. No drugs. That straw market right there.
That's what the
Let me
day
tell you
when
something.
Jay was saying about, the poor people in the straw market, and I turned around and I looked at it because I
No
used to
poor
teach, and
people.
many of my students' parents
poor people
were
in the
working
straw
in the straw market.
I in the wrong
Listen,
business.
you in the
Yeah.
wrong business. You go get one of them stores. They
Yeah.
don't pay that rent,
They don't pay.
but trust me,
And
they
rent is
have
low.
minimum $200,000-$300,000 on their accounts. And they come and they deposit that money every day. There's be an ASUS for $100 a day.
Yeah.
Oh, Miss Bullet, today was my ASUS. We pay $100 a day.
How much for a start out there though?
Must be $25 a month, and they don't
Yeah,
pay.
the rent is very
They don't
low.
believe in paying bills, but
They get Stacy.
yeah, they'll kick that generational. If your grandmother, no store and past that, you can't get in there. They'll kill you
It's too late for
first.
you.
No, but also along
You need to go burn that down so you can build another one.
okay, no, along the The wharf, you all see all those little stores?
Mhm.
They making loads of money. Junkanoo Beach, you all ever see Junkanoo Beach in the day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Trust
we just
me, loads of
see it
money.
all the time.
Loads of money. That, remember, that's our number one industry. Okay.
Even
Think
the
about
man
it.
by Montague, a lot of people don't realize that the guy at Montague who sells
The coconut,
he sells the corn, but it's his same family that's selling the coconut, and next to him is his family that's selling the fish, and it's like almost it's like a whole, like a conglomerate,
Right.
because there were people who were there before who moved out, because slowly but surely he used each member of his family to be responsible for a different area. So it's like at least about 6 or 7 stores belong to the same family.
What's that Monica?
Right where there's a Rasta guy that they call Yellow.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
that's his whole family that's working out there.
Because my grandma purchases fish from there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're always busy.
Trust me, that's where the money is. So if somebody say let's invest in the store market, jump on it. Think about when you go on vacation and how much money, especially if you go on a cruise, how much money you spending on a cruise, and then times that by everybody who on a cruise, and we have like 21 ships in here a week, 5,000 people each.
It just
Every
really-
person spend $1.
And you see strange, just like people at East Villa, they put their money in a brown paper bag and walk down the road with it in the bag. I kid you not. And it's a regular thing that they do. But people just not thinking that somebody like them will do something like that.
Yep.
They don't drive and go to the bank and have the usual the what's the
Briefcase or something
and
like
stuff.
that.
They just put
Yeah.
it in a brown paper bag. She walks to the bank, and when she gets there, she knows somebody there who actually gives her the bag, and then she probably thinks she's going with bread or something. Nah, very cool. Lots of money in that brown bag. Again, I guess fear too.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
well.
And they don't, Gucci, nothing,
And they're
nowhere.
very simple.
Nowhere. Okay? In fact, I told you all about, I was reading up on millionaires because I was just saying, I'm so far behind, I have to do something, right? So I was just
Study
reading
them.
up, I had to study them.
Yeah, I did it.
And Simon Cowell wears a white
t-shirt.
t-shirt and a jeans at every function because he does not want to keep up with the brands, because if he attended a function, he'd have to wear this $1 million suit or what have you. So he said he always wears that white tee, and if he goes to something where he has to dress up, he'll put a jacket over it. But that saves him a lot of money. And so brands like Gucci and Prada, they give him stuff, and he uses them to re-gift at Christmases and birthdays. And all his friends tell him that they get the best gifts from him. So that's a way to save, to not, you don't need something that says Gucci and this and that. But of course, and we don't need the big Mercedes and stuff like that, you know. And then he climbs a tree every day, and that gets his mind going. So, read these things, a lot of tips, of what they do and how they save. But think about it. Every time there's a function, we need a new dress, we need a new this, we need a new that, right? Okay, and all these things are very expensive. And if we look around, with that name, Ralph Lauren is a millionaire, thanks to us, right? Donatella Versace is a billionaire, thanks to us, right? All these makeup Mac and Mac all around the world, right? Okay, just so you all know. Okay, so we understand KYC, we understand potential activity, we understand the profile and the reason why we need to generate the profile, because we need to know that before we sign off as compliance, and a lot of those profiles in those old accounts, and I wish Laverne was here, because she always talking about the grandfathered accounts that we had from 1999. No. Yeah, and so they have no profile and they have no purpose morning, and then we're not good at doing the reviews, and so this account been open from 1999, but we don't know what's the purpose and what they supposed to be doing, right? And we too afraid to ask this person and find out, because it's 2019, so that's a whole lifetime. That's like 19 years later now, after we already let them pay for porn and pay for arms and buy the Rolex watch and whatever. We find out that there's a C-file account for investment, right? Right? Ring fencing.
So what you do with those then?
What to do? When you you have to sit down, you have to sit down, and our policy used to say, you must, because we have a lot of external asset managers where, you know, they just refer us business. We would have never met these clients, but in our policy it says at least every 2 years you must go out and meet the client. Now, technology is so advanced, you could video call, you could set up a video call, you do not have to fly to Switzerland and whatever, but of course, you know, they said, oh, I'm gonna fly to Switzerland and I'm gonna see 10 clients that I haven't seen before or what have you, that's what they normally do. But you can video call them, right? And you have to get the purpose, because you can't now, when you see the transactions going through for the Israeli army, what you could do, you're gonna say, is this for the gasoline for the truck? So what you could do, you could just sign off on it. It going to Russia. It all over the news. This going to Suriname or not Suriname, that's in the Caribbean, but all these suspect countries. What you could do? Just hope that the clearing banks or the corresponding banks send it back on your behalf and stop it. And then once they stop it, you know, you have an eye opener. What you could do? Be proactive. Your signature done on it. And you know, a lot of things slip through the crack. Because our corresponding bank said we didn't have any appetite for a certain company, but they only put wires over, must see $20,000, because this was a large company, right? They normally send wires for $100,000, but of course they wanted their wires to go through, and they realized, you know, the corresponding bank said, we suggested you close out the account because we're considering as nesting, right? First they said they were too concentrated, so we talked about risk, you know, credit risk and this risk and counterparty risk. The government owns BPL, partially now, or it's halfway privatized. It's partially. So isn't the government suffering counterparty risk right now because of BPL? I mean, everybody's saying kill BPL, but they saying Hubert Minnis government is gonna suffer, and a lot of voters are being turned away. I mean, for other reasons, but let's not forget the PLB and why only 4 people won last year. We forget that already. But this whole PL catastrophe that we suffer every day. I mean, not you who have generators, of course. Me, the lonely workers of the Bahamas who don't have a generator 3 times a day. Is the government not getting counterparty risk?
Yeah, but they don't care.
No, but I mean, just so to give you all an example. Yeah. You know? I mean, they didn't really do what they were supposed to do for 50 years.
Yeah.
And then they sell it, but let's just say it was completely privatized.
Well,
would they still not get backlash?
The thing is, they're willing to absorb that risk appetite, because, you know, they have the monopoly.
Yeah.
Meaning BPL.
Yeah.
So they, regardless of what bad press, we could burn their building down, the insurance, they can collect insurance and still give us bad electricity service. If it was another service provider, they probably would have been taking it more seriously.
Why isn't there another service provider?
It's
Grand Bahama has their own power company.
Exactly.
Spanish Wells. You all know of Spanish Wells?
No.
Spanish Wells is in Eleuthera. A little community.
Yeah, in Spanish Wells.
Okay, oh, that's what I mean.
Sorry.
Yeah, right. So they have their own power.
No.
So the whole Eleuthera is be off, but not Spanish Wells.
Okay.
So how is it that they're allowed to have their own power company? What did they do right?
Well, I believe what they call lobbyists.
The community came together and said no, because there was a time in Eleuthera where the electricity went with the current, and there's an island called Corona Island, and whenever or even the glass window bridge is be a rage on, and the bridge have to close. When that rage came on, the whole entire Eleuthera was out, especially Harbour Island. And so Spanish Wells said, oh no, that won't be us. Something like that happened, and they have their own power company. And I heard that they pay like $50 and $60 a month, and their air conditions don't turn off.
So how did they go about getting their own power company?
They have what these are Spanish revenue.
I'm just saying it could be done, but why can't that be?
No.
Why
you gotta
can't
look at
that?
who in the community. They ain't just any old people.
But look at Albany has part power themselves. But look at all these other gated communities.
Exactly.
Just let's
You
just
see what
say
we're talking about, right?
West Wind. Why can't the community of West Wind come together and say we no longer want
BBL.
BPL, we want solar, and
It
we
depends
can put it in your CAM charges, but we're gonna get it.
It depends on who is the person lobbying for that, how much power they have, because it's really a politics kind of thing.
As I want to say, there's a lot of politics.
And you're the one in network, right?
No, the thing about it is, we should have been the
Especially
pioneers.
you.
I just,
And you look like you on your, if you're in the gated community, you look like you on your way.
no, I
Okay, so therefore.
don't like any communities. I don't like any. I don't want nobody tell me how I can cut my grass.
Yes,
I won't play my music after as long as they want to. I don't want a restriction. It's my property. I
Your
want it.
community, the whole of Nassau can be off 3 times a day. I've been going off 10 hours a day.
Me too.
Yeah, no,
You
we
can
no.
tell.
As our generator gets finalized today. But the point about it is that, like I heard, there was a group of guys who were going to do solar panel power energy in Mama. They were in the paper and everything. They were about to just go with it. And I can't confirm this, but they got pulled into the Prime Minister's office when they were just about to just go ahead. And the Prime Minister said, no, y'all need to, y'all can't do this. Y'all can't do
we
this,
can do
right?
it individually.
You
Solar
could.
panels are
Well,
now duty free.
do it.
My friend has done it to his house. He has spent $15,000.
I did a similar post. I did a post on Facebook the other day, and I said, because people were talking about marching on BPL and protests, and I want to tell them, that's not going to do anything. Until you affect these people's power or their money, they do not care.
But where do you go when you protest
yeah.
after BPL?
They don't care. They let
Where
you
do
talk
go?
about with them. But the thing is, I said, y'all have, they predicted, originally they predicted power just going to be out for the end of the year, right? And then they came back and said, well, that's going to be postponed until March 2020. And we all know it's not going to go March 2020. It's going to go beyond that. So you are from now till whenever it foreseeably done to get yourself energy independent and get some solar panels on your house.
Right.
Okay? Use that time instead of grumbling, instead of talking
Right.
about civil disobedience. Just if 50% of the Bahamas said, you know what, we're tired of this,
We're
gonna you're affecting their pockets now. All of their revenue has now decreased 50%, and now they're gonna have to do something. Because all you
But of
sitting
course,
in,
you know, the power companies, I think, who owns Focal? I think
Frankie Wilson.
okay,
Exactly.
so
Frankie
they are
Wilson.
not going to go solar, so you have to go solar
exactly.
yourself.
But as a country, we should have been the pioneers in solar, hydroelectric, and
But
wind
somebody
energy.
said that when you have sunlight for 90% of your days, it's crazy.
We have a
It's
constant water
ludicrous.
current. We have constant breeze. Even on our hottest day, we have island breeze.
But let me tell you, my friend Solar, his bill had dropped with his central air on from $800 to $100, and he said, no, I'm not paying BPL $100, and he just put in the windmill, $24
I put my toast on BPL because it costs a bit lower. Half your house have to be on.
Put in a windmill.
He put in the windmill. No?
They have new
In
windmills.
sea breeze.
It ain't the windmills nowadays.
Right,
Those like
in
those
sea
big
breeze.
wide fans. Like
Oh, you know
they
what I'm
have these
talking about.
cylindrical windmills that don't have to be
Look how
so
long
high or
island-
so
island-
ostentatious.
look how
You could put
long
in your
island
yard.
The island school
Yeah.
has the windmills, they have the
Everything.
solar panels.
You can imagine if 50% on solar, because these houses are actually making more energy than they're able to use, and that's what they said they were going to do, where you can feed back into the BC grid, and that can cut down other people's light bill. If 50% of the country has,
You can, in Freeport, you can go solar, but you have to stay on their grid.
Yeah,
can't
but
just
staying on
get
that
off
grid,
that grid.
yeah, staying on that grid means $10 a month to Juanita.
Right.
So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for interjecting. This is Juanita.
Yeah.
She was in class. Yeah, so
welcome.
okay,
Happy to have you.
I will keep Central Air on and pay $10 a month. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
know, but
Yeah.
we bought
You have to
900
stay on
last
that
month,
grid.
800 this month, and light off 10
The
hours a
majority
day,
time.
Yeah.
3 times a
That's
day.
it.
That's the next thing. Someone had said the other day, we discussed it.
It's
We were
still
like,
high.
if you have scheduled load shedding in certain areas, nobody's bill is any less. Okay, nobody's bill is
it's
any less.
exactly the same.
The least they could have almost done was made, or let's say, average of the calculation, determine 3 hours per day, 4 times a week for a month, to subtract the average use and subtract it from your bill.
Basic maths, no.
Okay, and they're
can't
not
do
doing it. But I heard they estimate our bill actually,
But you
Most
know,
they
find
do.
out.
They don't read it.
That was all the
Listen,
and not just
In fact, it's
I've done some of
They
They got-
when it's time to lock it.
exactly and cut it off. If they was reading your meter by some computer system, they would have to come to your house to cut your electricity off and flip the switch.
but I was also told that if you look at the bills, there's a fuel surcharge.
That's the
That
biggest bill.
surcharge
It's
has
more
been
than-
supposed to be waived. They say almost from Finland put the law in place to waive that fuel surcharge, and we're still
That's more than the bill.
being
Yeah, that's
charged
more
it,
than
and
That's
that
nine-
goes,
that's like
that isn't
70% of the
even
bill.
It's more than the bill.
a part of the revenue for the government that is going into some account, and somebody's getting that money. So I really need to do some investigations
It's
to
way
see if
more
there's
than
a
the bill.
rumor or,
If 50% get,
It's not a part of the revenue?
no, it's not.
if 50%
And-
gets
okay.
solar, feeding into
But
the
then-
other 50%, giving them power, and balancing it off, we
But yeah, that's
straight.
easier said than done.
It
because
is.
You have to think about this, the initial startup cost for solar.
It
It's very
is.
high. The
It
banks
is.
don't lend you money for solar panels. Because they just,
Well,
Well, here's the thing.
That's
Here's
my
the
friend
thing.
did. He
Here's
bought
the
thing,
one
though,
of
but
them.
it's
No, I mean,
very
15,000
But think about it now,
isn't
right? Even before,
bad. Hey,
even
so
before.
what's wrong with yours?
Marlin Marine those are making a killing right now because people who may have vacillated over getting a generator now find it needed because they can't go through.
Yeah, but who
and-
can
yeah.
put gas
No,
in that every day?
I was
No,
about
the
to say
point. The
that.
point is that even if you didn't have the adequate reason before now, if ever there was a time to now relook into this and figure out if you can get your money to get a plan for the year that you have ahead of you of blackouts, now's the time to consider.
Yeah,
if you have
and
a
get
before.
propane, don't get gas or diesel, get
Don't
propane.
get
Okay,
diesel.
that's
Yeah, but still, that's still very
It's still
expensive.
very expensive.
It
My
is.
nail tech is doing that to keep her electricity off, so her business could keep going. And she has
It's
been
expensive.
spending like $250 a week.
It's
for
expensive.
the gas.
For, it's
It's
right.
expensive. It
It's
is.
expensive.
Yeah, so
The solar panels, the expense is the initial.
yeah, initial and at the
Okay,
onset.
but again, this is where I think I recommend it because I know somebody who does like financial planning. I put a tag there and say, please, you could do a sinking fund between your household,
Yes.
between 5 or 4 year old who live in houses, be parking car there and get it together.
Yeah, or just ASUS or network
Whatever
or
it
what
is,
have
just
you.
we
But
will.
now you see why I say one of us has to be the prime minister,
See,
or we have to be a part of the
we'll
government.
vote for you.
Government general, sorry. I don't-
First female.
Government general.
We'll be the first female.
Okay, yeah, but go ahead, Juanita.
Freeport Power is now, they just cleared down a piece of property for their solar field. So hopefully within the next 2 years, Freeport is going to be
Yeah,
solar.
but Juanita, watch that, because let's see if they're gonna cut that cost and pass that on to the consumer. I doubt that. I think they're gonna cut their fuel,
And power charge the same thing.
and charge the same
But
thing.
you
So
don't-
watch it.
Someone had posted that thing about NASA doesn't have a large enough place to have these solar power fields. I saw online nonsense. But I saw this thing online. Even if you want to use that as an excuse, I saw this thing online where one country did solar panel fields in the ocean.
Oh, and
All we have is ocean.
Okay, there you go.
We have enough land to
There.
We do,
Yeah.
but if they say they want, because apparently the land is so valuable and they can sell it and they crap,
value of doing nothing sitting there.
they just letting that value just increase, so they will cut it up and put it in their pocket. But we see all the heavily condensed areas, and you go out in the back of the airport and you be like, who own all this land? Why we all jam up? The point about it is if they don't want to use it, they find it more valuable to wait till the property appreciates instead of later on, and they don't want to use it for solar panels. Fine, that's what you want to say and put on record, fine. But you have this ability now to have solar panel fields in the ocean. We are a chain of 700 islands across how much water?
And then you have to deal with all the environmentalists who have an issue with you putting solar panels in the ocean, trust me. Because Bahama went through a whole process trying to actually have their own power by using reverse osmosis, and they were attacked by environmentalists.
How is that affecting the environment? I mean, maybe I'm aware of some
They
other
had a
factor.
process where they were going to put some pipes through a part of the ocean that had, as far as I'm fully aware, dead corals.
Okay.
And there was a march against it, saying that they were going to kill all the corals in the ocean
Okay.
and everything. And
I don't understand how the
Fill
solar
them
panel,
out.
it's not a chemical thing though. The solar panels on the thing, it just takes up a certain
it
spread.
don't matter. It don't matter. In any time.
I guess the drilling.
Just the
to
drill.
put them down.
No, no, it's a floating water. It's like
Oh,
a
it's
floating
floating.
water
Oh,
panel
okay.
thing. It's not actually like tied to any significant portion of the ocean floor. We have open ocean where it's just sand and they do it over one of the wreckage of those ships. It doesn't have to affect anything environmentally, and it's plus not chemically ran. I don't see the I mean, maybe I'm not as well versed in all the environmental risks, but I'm saying on the offset, it doesn't pose the same risk as you say with drilling and the pipes. I can understand. You don't want, you know, but the possibilities are there. But when you don't have the will,
And that's it.
you're the people lobbying against, and we're paying the price for it. You know what I mean? So that they can keep their money.
Do you think John Boston will be successful? Because he wants to do this, to meet with the prime minister to do this floating, I think Jamaica has one. It's
Yeah, they do.
like a floating plant, and like electricity sometimes I think he's supposed to do. You think he'll be
Well, he is
successful
up
with
there.
it?
He is up. This is just my own personal view. Y'all don't repeat this, and y'all don't, embrace me for it. He is up there, and really, y'all know why they owe Janet a favor. Janet is supposed to be Governor General from years ago, but y'all know why she can't be it because of her husband. Yeah, and so they do owe her something big.
Who's husband?
Y'all
John
read the
Boston.
news, and that's what I wanted to say.
It was in recent news? Since we started this class?
What's that?
John
No, Henry been in trouble for years
Okay.
with little stuff.
Yeah.
He's
I don't
been
know.
in trouble. This
Enlighten
being
us.
recorded,
Oh.
and I always in trouble for
I used to live in the States, I have no idea.
So they owe us something big since they given the Governor General post was before Lady B. It was supposed to be her. So they may give her that through her son. That's what I thinking. They may. But
But
if
the
be
first
a
time-
place, go ahead.
The first time he commit the crime, why he can't pay and they don't have to give her anything. He was actually caught over here with a gun in his bag.
Yeah. But again, you have to understand that they owe her. They owe her, and she has been very supportive of them, even though she has been overlooked so many times. Now, nobody has sat down with her, I'm certain, and said, you have been overlooked because of your spouse and his stuff.
History.
You know what I mean? His history and the things that he does, and we don't want him up there because there are too many families affected. We don't want any further embarrassment for the country. You know what I mean? Because the type of vice that he has, I don't know if he has it under control as yet. Y'all read the newspaper, y'all stay abreast in your network, and y'all know what's going on. So, no, and this is my own view. You know what I mean?
This is someone who talked to him after
Yeah,
class.
stop gossiping, that's gossip. Yeah, so therefore I think they owe her something big. They have to give her something to appease her. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel, so they may give it to her through John. Yeah, and John means well, but, he means well. He does more good than harm. Yeah. Y'all don't record me now. Yeah, so anyway, back to KYC, and we had good discussion. I did, when I woke up and the electricity went off, and I said, you know what? Nobody has come to class and shared their newspaper clippings with the class.
You're supposed to bring it? Or just
Bring it or
talk about it?
Talk about it.
You didn't
Talk
say.
about it. So I just want to make sure that you're reading the newspaper, because I spoke to Geronimo. He isn't going to be here today, but he did say, Ms. Bullitt, I read about the Iranian deal, and then I read about the trade war that is happening with China. We should be paying attention to that, and I wanted to discuss
And
that
this weekend
today.
is the G7 meeting that everybody
Yes.
should pay attention
So
to.
thank you, Geronimo, when you watch the video, and we'll wait for you to come and we'll discuss that. So you all read up on that, and hopefully you'll be here next week, and we'll discuss that, because we need to be abreast of what's going on. And I hope that you all are reading.
Yeah.
Y'all reading, yeah. Okay, good discussion.
And I sent lots of
Yeah.
stuff.
You did.
I sent them a lot of stuff on what's
Okay.
happening this week locally and internationally.
Okay, but we don't wanna just sit down and talk, which we are great at. We wanna dress up and go out and do, and
Is the
attend.
NASA conference coming up?
And meet
So
I haven't,
I
haven't seen anything on it
I
yet.
almost certain I got an email forwarded. I think it's happening next month.
Okay,
I'll send it. I'll see if I can find it and
Yeah.
forward it so you can see it. And
Okay.
I imagine I'll see everybody there.
Yeah, I hope to see everybody there. I really hope so.
What's that?
The
The
NASA
NASA
conference.
It's normally pretty good. Actually. I think it's supposed to be next month.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can
Yeah,
find
it is next month.
the save the date. I don't think it's a formal thing. I don't think they have the key speaker selected as yet. But I think it's like a save the date.
Type of
Kinda
thing,
thing.
already. Okay.
But I'll send it when I look for it.
Yeah, but we have to attend these things. We have to network. The banks ain't lending money for the solar, so 5 of us could get together, and I do your house, you do my house. Like that, we take turns. We could go in the ASU. We can network. We can invest together.
Because before, it really was like I say, it don't make no sense investing $5,000 on generator when they cut my car only when hurricane hit.
Yeah, that's
Or-
right. And then
or
look what
once-
happened with Matthew.
Or once every when they changing up some generator for a day, make off a couple
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
But this is consistent. I think a lot of people are now more considering, because
So,
I've seen
yeah.
an increase in generators in my area.
Okay.
And people's service is very hard to get even someone to install them. It's been difficult because they've hiked the price, supply and demand.
Yeah, but corporations, and I don't know, my, in my other class, when there was a Hurricane Matthew, my electricity was off for 3 weeks. The lady from Scotiabank said that Scotiabank was giving them loans for generators, no interest free, and no qualifying required. They will take $25 out of your salary to pay it back. The other lady, she was at Pictet when it was Hurricane Matthew. They gave her some condos out west that had like a hurricane shelter. Her and her 5 children went there. They had somebody cook and bring meals. They gave every employee $500, and they said that if you needed to get a generator, come and speak to them and they will subsidize it. Now I don't know how they did that, if they paid for half or what have you, but it was awesome, the give backs. Even Commonwealth Bank gave every employee $300 and said that if you want a generator, no interest, come in and we'll assist. So I'm certain that companies are making some offerings to their staff, the banks. You know, I even see when I pass, what's the name? Oh, it isn't Island Luck, the next one. The purple one. What's the name of it? A Shorewin sign big on Prince Charles says, we are giving away 8 generators in 8 weeks. Okay. Okay, so there's the awareness out there, and I'm certain if your company doesn't offer it, somebody does, and interest free would be your company or whatever you. And these are the type of things that excuse me, we talk about, like it's been the whole entire Bahamas is being affected. Are you prepared to lend any assistance to your staff? You know, you'll be surprised.
I know the offshore banks do, because they usually have in their BCP plan, as the budget even to fly out.
Yes.
Some of their staff members to God knows where.
Yeah.
For the duration of hurricane once you serve.
Just looking at our business continuity.
God knows where.
Yeah, but it depends where your
Yes,
head
normally
office is.
Cayman or
They put them up in a hotel, like a skeleton team in Hilton or whatever, but they make provision so that I think in the golden days of private banking, I think, offshore banking, the golden days, I heard this, they said that actually once you reach over, I think, a category 4, they float every employee and their family out.
Because I was about to say which employees, because some
all of
institutions depends on.
No, some what they do is they'll be set people.
Right?
They set people for the business
continuity,
team.
right?
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll do, and right now I think that's what pretty much people do now. If they don't put you in the Hilton, they'll fly you out.
Right.
Just the core people and their families. But at one point ago, I think it was actually maybe Pictet that flew out if it wants to reach above category 4.
We went to Cayman and we worked from Cayman. Then we worked it from Miami, and then we worked from the island house because we was Life Key Royal Bank Trust.
Maybe it's not a company, I think, but they flew out all of whether you're working or not.
Oh no, only
your household and your
yeah. And then for our Dominion Securities, he lived in Old Fort Bay, and his generator stopped working, and he said, listen, because I was the manager of operations, he said in the event of an emergency, a hurricane, what have you, my staff of 5 can come and work from my house.
I was about to say
I
that.
said, okay. Yeah. And then he said, okay, my generator isn't working. So I said, okay, and we bought him a generator. We tried to get it fixed, and then they bought him a generator. But with the plan for the 5 people to go to his house, and so I didn't have to pay for hotel and what have you. I just had to give them allowance for food, and they work from his house. Yeah. So. Yeah, but we understand customer due diligence, we understand KYC, we know that's one of our multiple choice questions. Yeah. What is required, KYC or CDD?
KYC.
Okay, good. All right, and we know the importance of why we ask all this ridiculous things, passport, NID, address, what have you now. Central Bank has relaxed it on the retail side. They said, in this world of, I guess, our catastrophe with our post office, And then, you know, a lot of people, this technological advanced world now, they said, if you if it's an existing client and you do the review, you can go to the telephone directory, or you could go on whitepages.com and print their address and put it on the file. But you must have 2 sources of contact. So 2 sources for contact is the telephone number and the email address. I mean, the fax number, a lot of people don't use fax machines. Only the really, really old persons use the fax machines. But once you have those 2 sources of contact, you should be okay. Anybody else know of any change in the relaxation? You all know that it was relaxed about 2 years ago, right? All this KYC requirement was relaxed. So did anything change?
Verification of address.
Okay, so going back to getting it from the telephone directory or whitepages.com, you all still do that, or you don't need the verification of address at all?
We don't do that at all.
Y'all don't do that at all? Okay, excellent, because, you know, what the collections department had a problem with in one of the banks was that everybody in Eleuthera had said general delivery. And so when they went to repossess, nobody knew, and them island people ain't telling you where Miss Annie live. You don't go and go take Miss Annie's house or her car, right? And so we had to come up with a way for them to verify the address. And so what happened on the retail side, in the Eleuthera branch, the manager or that account officer on a Saturday or whenever had to go out, just like how Cable Bahamas to say you live left, right in the pink, White House, whatever, give a full direction from the bank to the house and sign off on it, and I confirm this is where Miss Annie lives, you know. But that was really pushed from compliance, because if you all look at the repossessed lists in the family islands, you all will be shocked at how many people houses are repossessed, but they still live in it, because, you know, the banks changed from putting you out. They put you out now when you have a seller. And so I know somebody has now been in there, their house been repossessed, 10 years ago their house been repossessed, they still living in it.
Yeah,
I say, girl, that's a blessing.
Yes,
10
ma'am.
years, no mortgage.
Might have to pay to renovate the house and upkeep.
Right, and so they let her stay, and she said, child, in 2 more years, these children will graduate. I just prayed for the 2 more years they will graduate, and I have enough money for them to go to college now, since I didn't have to pay this mortgage. And I can find my 1-bedroom apartment too. She said, what the devil thought he was going to do. You know,
Downfall,
you're there,
your
you
blessing.
go. Yeah, so I say, amen, sister, amen. You know? So, but they have millions of repossessed.
A lot.
They're sitting up
Seabreeze
there.
has plenty.
Yeah, Royal Bank had 700, that was like 2-3 years ago, 700 and houses and apartments and buildings. They didn't know what to do with that. They just overwhelmed the collections department. You call collections, they dismal, they don't even know what to say. Yeah, you pay a payment. You can pay, okay, thank you. They never follow back up, they overwhelmed. Yeah, so it turned to be do more harm and good than repossessing, because they can't manage it.
It's power in numbers, right? Another argument I made to my colleagues the other day. I said, again, don't match, just civil disobedience. Just make a declaration that 50% we're not going to pay our bill for August. And then when the same improvements by September, we're not going to pay our bill in September. In the same time, where they go and they have no qualms about cutting off people's electricity when you don't make a payment.
Do you believe BEC was through my corner, and I said I was
Yeah, they cut you
tired.
off.
I was ready
I'm just
to
saying, but the
walk
thing
at
is-
them. I said, are y'all crazy?
But the
I said,
thing
the
is-
light off 10 hours a day. Are y'all crazy?
The thing is, in that same way, right, their reason is we have the right to shut off power when you don't pay for the service, right? Well, we're paying for service and not providing. They can't cut
Nah.
off 50% of the island.
Oh, there you go.
They got to cut the whole island.
Yeah, but see, you need all of us to get together.
You need at least a good portion of it.
People to come, our biggest challenge is
Come
to get
together.
people to come together to do those.
We ain't just doing no slack, you know. We ain't say we can never pay it, but the time is by now. We
Until
gotta
they
have
get their act
organized.
together.
It takes nothing. There's like no energy. You don't gotta take a day off from work. You don't gotta buy a shirt. You don't gotta do a picket sign to just not pay a bill. Collective saying we're not paying our bill for August. And when
But it's
they
back
see
to
that,
school, ain't nobody paying but it's August anyway.
we're not paying till September. But the organizers, they can't.
But no,
As much as they have the click switches, they can't come and switch off 50% of the population. They'll have to cover the whole island. And people who are paying, they can be like, no.
Hey, I locking my gate and putting out my dog. Where my
That's
dog is.
You gotta lock the gates.
I
Bring
just
the
couldn't believe
numbers.
it. They were just driving.
No, I saw them
What
last
are you all
week.
doing?
Seabreeze has been out of power some days sometimes 5 hours in the day, and then they turn
And
around
then
and
they
they
turn
take
it
off
off
in the
at 6,
night
7,
as
She
well.
does.
And
Yeah,
I saw them
that's
last week driving around turning people lights off.
You think they have one thing they have is testicular fortitude, all right? They don't care
Really?
about what nobody
They got
says about them,
balls.
but they tell you messing with their money.
That was like
But
weird.
Ms. Bullard, it's true because I've had a situation since August 1st. I've had no internet, no Flow TV for 3 weeks, none. And I have BTC, and they came and they did whatever they had to do, and the technician said one thing. And so I made my connections. I called this one, I called the next one, until I got one of the top managers, and I kept calling her every day, every day. So Wednesday, I finally have internet and I have Flow TV. But the thing about it is too, like I say, for me, I work hard, I pay my bills. You can't tell me that, they tell me I dare to escalate my case to the US, that's a way of it. That's not my problem.
Yeah.
So now that it's fixed, I got 5 calls. Because they was in the system, they saw the email was sent to this person and this manager and the next
Damage
manager and the next
control.
manager.
After you
And
done suffer for 3
after
weeks.
this, right, so now my thing is, I called somebody else and said, look, I didn't have cable and internet for 3 weeks. You're gonna have to adjust my bill.
Yeah.
Because I
They
can't
should
do that,
adjust,
so-
that's what the 5 calls should have been.
Right.
I say,
But
hi,
so
this is
So
bill
my
adjusted,
thing is,
it's
like
the
you
bill
said,
adjusted.
we have to fight for it.
Together, and it doesn't sound like Weka was like, no, we should take to the streets and block up the road. I'm like, you inconveniencing the humans and they can do
The
nothing.
only effective march has been the Borough Road riot. That was in
Yeah.
1940
And what do they do?
something.
Stop
They
people money.
block. Yeah, that's the only way. You have to
Yeah.
block the pocket. If you aren't prepared to go out there and block Bay Street when
Uh-huh.
7 cruise ships in
Exactly.
that harbor.
Exactly.
You have
Don't
to
waste
money.
your time.
This is the whole thing we learn about
Don't
now
waste your
about
time.
terrorist
Tourist minister come and
financing.
walk. Just like our Leslie Miller does came and walk.
They can't arrest everybody else. You have to have enough
Don't make a
people do it.
mockery of us.
They
We
can't
marching
make
against you.
But that's what we learning right now with the whole terrorism financing and thing.
But they changed the laws, and Ms. Bullard, you can't just march like that, eh?
No, you go and ask to have something in
Permit.
Washington. You have to ask
Peaceful
permit.
protest.
Yeah, but
Peaceful march.
that's the protocol. But you know it don't be peaceful and whatever. They try not to give it to you on Wednesdays when the session, when the house is, yeah. But you have to ask for permission or the police could arrest you, you know.
If you think about this whole thing, right, terrorism financing, when that happened, what was the first thing they did? Try to cut off these terrorist money supply.
Right.
They ain't say we're gonna change indoctrinate them into another ideal. They ain't say we're gonna go and just physically finish
Frederick
them
and
people.
Troy, I mean, excuse me, right? I could be very, very feminist or sexist right now.
Right,
You
so that was
ever
gonna
try to
happen
get
now.
something from her, and he ain't hearing you? You have to cut off something.
Mhm.
And where it hurts, the money. That's the only way. They don't listen,
Yeah.
right, Frederick? Yeah, like until something that they really want is taken away from them, they ain't hearing you.
You see what the hospital doing? What they did? They and to what now they get in talk with ministers. They get their money, then they get their money or something.
I think I see something that's like $1,200,
Yeah.
and I see somebody doing it down. So I was supposed to read it. I didn't get back to
But
it.
the
I
point
think
about
it's
it is, what do
$1,200
they do?
got.
They stopped operations so business can
And that's the
continue.
hospital.
That's the hospital. That's a national crisis.
Right.
And they gave a list of things that they will still treat like emergency cases and things they will not. Sore throat and sprain, you better try to go home and
Yeah.
deal with that. We're not going to do it. And of course, gunshot wounds and everything. So fine, okay, the gunshot still go on, but still you're not operating at full capacity.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Yeah. Okay, good. So KYC, very good discussion. We're keeping abreast. We know what's happening in our country. And these are our water cooler conversations. When we go out to these seminars, we are well versed, well knowledgeable of what's happening in the country today. Excellent. Very good. Okay? All right, but dress up, look your best, and go out there and network. Because if we don't know that person on top, nobody will prove us solar power. If nobody owes us favors, we ain't get nothing done. Because we don't have enough people to go out there and riot the right way, block the money. So we gotta use what we have until we get to that point, right? That we build a strong enough network like Bin Laden to be able to survive for 10 years
Okay.
in luxury.
With dialysis.
With yes, who need insulin and all of that, and for 10 years. But like I say, only for Frederica in my last class say, Derica say, she could live in her mommy else and no way. Me, I can't do that. Every day, I'll get a paper You read this paper today?
Yeah,
You don't see no job? You can't, when they see you coming, turn off the news, Jehovah Witness, turn off the lights, turn off, Troy coming. Right? And you definitely, you ain't gonna be coming out your mother house every night, talking about you going out living lavish. Oh, you ain't gonna bring no woman. He had how much wives? 3 or 4 women come up a day, it's his wife and they talking. And children too.
That's their religion, man.
They need a Bahamian mother. He just need a Bahamian mother. Okay. And then who protecting him? He lived right outside the defense force, right under their nose. No, not in the Bahamas. It wasn't going like that. But we understand KYC. We know the importance of it. Now we'll go on to reading the typology about. Y'all should have read it for homework, right? Last final exam, I tweaked it a little bit, but this was the mandatory question. Everybody understands what mandatory means. Who ain't give me their homework? I get yours by email.
14.
You need the last one?
Yeah.
Or did you give it back?
Anybody have to do over? I don't want you all here sitting here doing homework. And I get these bunch of written stuff. One bunch of handwritten stuff. Okay, good. So, no more homework. Okay, good. Juanita, I got yours. Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so, I don't know if you can see the board, Juanita. Can you see it?
No, I can't.
Okay, we can turn you around. Can you see that? No, not at all?
No.
Not at all? Okay.
No.
Is it Marcus? Something that's a Marcus we usually do, I forget.
You were supposed to
Bring you something.
bring Marcus.
It's
Okay,
really the quality
so
is not that good.
again, we all know that the 4 questions that we had for homework was taken from the final exam, right? The FAT, FA question, the
The
sanctions
one you
question.
gave back or the one before that?
The one
Yeah,
before that.
the
One
one
before
before that,
that,
yeah.
okay.
So the 4 questions was taken from the final exam, right? This question was also on the final exam as a mandatory question that had to be answered. And it was worth 20%, 20 points, sorry. So you cannot pass the exam. 70% is required to pass. You cannot pass it if you don't answer the mandatory question. Okay, and so Juanita, let me know if you can hear me. It says the Egmont Group, and we all know who the Egmont Group is, right? Recognize that networking I'll start over. The Egmont Group recognize that networking amongst both local and international partner groups is essential.
Okay.
Discuss the fraud cases and the outcome of the investigations. I tweak it. It was something to this effect. I tweak it. So if it that grammar ain't right, y'all can blame me this time. Alright, y'all can't blame me for the book.
Okay.
Okay, so for homework, we read on the fraud cases, we read on the Egmont Group, right? And so what I expected, if I show you all my plan for the day, that was made from the head of the class at the beginning. Today I was supposed to walk in here, I gave it to y'all for homework, put this on the board, and let y'all do y'all quiz, what is it, 6? And collect it and then give y'all a grade.
I was gonna say,
So give y'all a
Give her
no,
a-
I ain't giving no more F's.
I will get a 0.
You know, when I marked that homework, when I marked that homework, I said if any copy and paste, you get 50%. So you started off with 100, and I mark you right down to 50%. If I saw the
So
copy
your
and paste.
plan for today, has that plan changed?
The question on
That's
the
a
board,
homework,
we done talk about, we do an overview of KYC. Anybody have questions? Juanita, any questions on KYC? And do, we good with that, everybody good with that, right? Okay, good, all right, and so therefore, this was homework, right?
You mean to
To
read?
read.
To read.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
this is
so-
the one to write.
If you did your homework, You should have been able to be prepared to answer this question.
No.
No, you know.
I ain't gonna
Yes, just because I didn't say this was a test.
I read it, but I.
Retaining is one thing, being prepared to cite case.
Yeah, like.
The cite case, that's a different set of reading.
Yeah, I read.
So why we can't answer this? Who has watched Dirty Money? Who's watched Dirty Money?
I watched it.
Okay, so from Dirty Money, nobody, you can't tell me about a fraud case from watching Dirty Money. Troy, tell me about a fraud case.
Watch Dirty
I
Money.
watched like 2 episodes of Dirty Money. and
Which
that was
episode you watch?
HSBC.
Okay. Oh my God. Now come on. Tell me about HSBC.
HSBC was hit with fines for money laundering.
Why? What they do? So I need 20 points. Give me 20 points. You watch it, right? You watch the entire thing. You found it interesting or it was boring?
It's kind of boring.
It was kind of boring, but you wasn't amazed at the outcome.
Oh, they wasn't.
I
cannot even remember.
Yeah,
That was last year.
Justice, they did not,
Okay.
they didn't pursue the charges because of the level of persons who were involved.
They say HSBC was too big to
No.
fail.
Yeah, but they find them, and they
Like
find them billions.
$1.6
But it was
billion
only
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, 5 weeks of profit, yeah, so even to the world, the one point something
looked like
billion,
it was
1.9
big, but that
billion
was
was like,
nothing.
oh my God, 1.9 billion, how will they survive? And when you look at HSBC, they are worldwide. That took them 5 weeks to make 1.9 billion, so in essence, whilst the
Slap on the
media
wrist.
put it out there like, 1.9 billion. And all around the world, I even sat in a training where somebody started with that and said, look at the type of fines. So to us in the Bahamas, my little Ricky, they keep buying, that would have wiped us. We would have still been paying, our great grandchildren would have paid that for us. But the HSBC, that was a joke, a slap on the wrist. Okay, and why was it a slap on the wrist? Because the Attorney General was set to retire and their lawyers were gonna hire him. He was promised the job. Hence, this is why it ended up on Dirty Money. So yeah, 1.9, so you could imagine how that meeting went. Okay, we gotta charge you something big. Something that, we can't stay in the million, we gotta charge you billion. But we could just take it to a billion so it will sound adverse in the media and everybody be like, yeah, you really dealt with them, you stick it to them. And people thought that they stuck it to them. Because like I said, I attended a seminar where they started with that and say, boy, they really stuck it to them. Could you imagine if we would charge that? Yeah, if we would charge that, that would be more than sticking it to us. That was wipe the whole Bahamas out completely. But for HSBC, that was 5 weeks of revenue. Slap on the wrist for them. And perhaps the Attorney General would have gotten his job when he retired. Right? Okay, so that's why it's best to watch it on TV and you may be able to retain it and put this story down on paper.
It should be on YouTube, right?
Yeah, you should be able to put it down on paper and explain it properly. What happened? What was the outcome? So they open up accounts for Mexican drug lords. And how do you put Bin Laden in your system? Let's see if you're as smart as the criminals, because you have to be half as smart as the hackers and the criminals.
A dash or.
So they would hyphenate Bin Laden. So the tracking system on your computer would pick up on Bin Laden right there. And so here is Bin Laden has a account in the system.
Miss Fuller, but even Donald Trump was on Dirty Money,
Yeah.
where he's
said
doing
that.
business with the Russians.
Are you surprised?
No.
She said it so innocently, like
No, but it was
a great
like,
president.
how do you vote for someone that you know?
When President Trump ran, he must have had how much existing lawsuits against him and
Exactly.
cases
And-
of sexual
and
abuse,
sexual
sexual
abuse and
assault
this and that.
pending.
Okay.
When he was coming in, already open.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So
Okay.
you know why he won? Because most people are cowards, and they think it, and they are very racist. They
Yeah.
think it, he represents their voice. He's not a coward. He'll say it, he speaks it, and he supports it. And so for the rest of us who thinking it, but we can't dare say it because we must be politically correct, and we must be diplomatic, and this is what we need to do to survive. But if you go by, be the fly on the wall, or you will hear, kill these niggas, do this, do that, and so he represents all the cowards in America who can't speak up.
But who will vote for him quietly and no one know.
Yeah, because you don't see a white man dying every day in America. We, black people is kill you, or they is fight you. White people is,
Call a man or sue you.
they don't kill you. They want screw you over. They want screw you over. Like right here in the Bahamas, let me tell you what happened. And this again, we going far off.
It's okay, go
This
ahead. We
man,
like this time. Ice come for us this week.
this black man had an affair with a white man's wife. The white man's wife, she had access to all the money. And so the black man used to work for the white man, and he opened up his own store. All of a sudden, I bring you up from nothing. You know, you was making $200 a week, now you're my manager. I bill you $800 a week, which is good for you since you was a black man, you know. And all of a sudden you have enough money to open up a store to compete with me. So black man takes a store at the other end of the island. I ain't really trying to compete with you. I just happy I finally get over, I get this money, I can run my own business, thank you, you know. Now sip that you're sleeping with my wife. So white man say, wait a minute, I bring you from nothing, there's no way you could go rent no building. I know you run no same type of business I run in and talking about you growing, right? And so white man do his investigation and found out indeed your wife is cheating with this black man, and that's your money that opened up that business for him. You know what white man do? Across the road from where his business was, he built a mega building and wipe him out completely. That's what white people say.
Money. Let them talk.
Yeah. That boy was in business. First of all, he was intimidated. All he do is see the building going up, and he didn't know, and he didn't even tell the wife. He see the building going up, and we was like,
Who is that?
where this coming from in the back of the bush? Like, why would this even big corporation come out in the back of the bush? And then all of a sudden, the paint goes on. We say, oh my God, why would, you know? And then the people who say, you know why that happened? I've been here for 20 years, I can tell you why that happened. Because that rental building over there is what his wife invested in, us we that. And so he didn't kill him, like the black man was saying, he killed him.
Break your foot.
Now he don't work for him no more.
He can't work for himself no more.
But he screw him out that because now the wife knows, but they ain't never talking about that was my sweetheart. But the wife know my husband, and she knows now that my husband built that building to wipe him out. So I scared. I mean, I can't tell you she stopped sweethearting him, but she sure ain't invest no more money in him. You know what he could have picked up and go move somewhere else. But I can tell you, that white man have so much influence in the Bahamas. Anywhere he moved, he would have followed him and wipe him out.
Yeah. Wow.
Because now he became his, his enemy. He ain't kill him. He ain't kill him. He kick him down off his pedestal. He kick him off that horse. Of course, and he block him. Put in exclusivity agreements. You can't sell to this person, that person. I can buy out this what he sell, this type of lumber. I can buy all that lumber from you. So when he have to go to the expensive place, that's the difference. So he represents all those people who don't have the money to go and put that building across from you to put you out of business. And all the people who are racist and upset and,
I need someone to love me like Trump fans love Trump. I feel like I can't get that kind of love in my life, that kind of dedication. That's some serious.
Come on, Bin Laden. You need the network like Bin Laden. Trump corrupt. I hate
Trump as the example.
They actually said, and if the people who said they saw Donald Trump shot him, shot somebody inside Times Square, they still wouldn't believe he did it. If they saw it. Wow. They interviewed these people, they said, you saw him do it, would you believe he did it? And they said, no. Because he says, don't believe they tell you, believe what I say. And don't believe what you see, believe what I say. And even if they say it's right, don't believe that either.
And Donald Trump is broke, so how is he influencing these people?
Power.
He has the power, when you take over his power.
How do you get
His
that power?
name everywhere, his name, even bad practices
So,
His
do you see
everywhere.
from a marketing strategy that he put his name out there everywhere?
Yep.
All that made him popular.
They said actually did a study in most of the rural areas that voted heavily for Trump. A lot of the people didn't know the other candidates. They didn't
They
have
knew Trump.
Trump. They knew Trump's name.
So that is why when you get these
Marketing.
businesses, you put your name on it, you put the name on the
Marketing.
plan, you put it on
He
the
might have been-
everywhere
he
people
might have
see
been-
you.
Hey, he might have been campaigning his whole life.
Yeah, and
He
the
was.
average
He was.
person,
Really?
the
That's what
average
he was
person, very illiterate, is more grassroots people in the Bahamas. Who, and that's why they always wait for the PLP. When it's election time, they understand, I can give you $500. That'll be the only $500 you ever get in the 5 years. But that $500, and you telling me a promise, I believe you, and I
And
go.
don't forget, Trump said if he ever run for president, and he said this a long time ago,
I was just about to
he
quote that.
will run for the Republicans
Party.
because they have no sense.
Yeah, he said that. Now he said that. That's on recording, right?
Yes,
He
yes.
said that. That's on recording. And if you
Switch
show
from
that to
Democrat
a
to Republican
Republicans
to Republican.
supporter, they would just dismiss it like they can't believe their own eye. They can't justify it. But that's the kind of
They're
loyalty
the
they
less
have.
intelligent
He was
people,
a
so you get
Democrat
more,
before the
more
election.
support
He
from
switched
that.
Why
to
is crime
Republican
very
to run on the
prevalent?
ticket.
Why is crime very prevalent? Why? Because people get away with it.
Mhm.
They get away with it. And they prey on your ignorance.
Mhm.
And so you could look at a criminal and learn from them. That's why I say let's build Ben Laden's network. Let's survive for 10 years, don't work, eat the best, have security outside our door. 10 wives, 10 children.
In,
I need medication
He rich though.
in fall, yeah, but how he had to
for
get
10 years. But
Still
concubines and what still
Actually,
come
yeah,
on.
they did cut him off from the family wealth, but he still had the honey chain.
Okay, but somebody, I mean, think about it. Steve Jobs created Apple. They said that he didn't have personal skills, and the board voted him out of the company, his own company, right? And then Apple didn't develop no iPhone. He was stuck on iPhone 4 for a couple of years, or iPhone 5. They had to go back and get Steve Jobs.
They still do it. They still making the same mistake.
Yeah, they had to go back and get him because they could find nobody in the world to develop the next levels of iPhone or Apple
Because he
or
had the
whatever
foresight.
was needed, because that was in him. They couldn't take that away from him. This is the company that he created, you know. Okay, so why nobody? What's the correct? Let me get the diplomatic word. Corning Ben Laden. Why nobody corning Donald Trump? Why? They ain't walking around with nothing like Steve Jobs was, and they vote Steve Jobs out until we can find somebody else to make this phone. You know how much money we making? This Apple. But you could let the inventor go rather than put him in an office somewhere away from people. So if he really that bad, he don't affect nobody. And come to find out, he really even wasn't that bad. Or probably after he was dying, then he changed. But he did talk about, you all read his story when he was dying,
Yeah.
where he has all this money, but he can't pay for health. He wish he had spent more time with his kids. He wish, stuff like that. Yeah, okay, good. But nobody tried to oust Ben Laden, or it's just not talked about. They support him, no matter what.
In Bin Laden's case, the fact that most persons can see the blatant corruption inside Parliament and the government does not look out for you. These criminals look out for you.
Okay, so that's how you build your network. When you get a big lump sum, you take it in the ghetto and you sit down and say, everybody can get you $500.
Because if I say,
Yeah.
That's what you do.
That's
That's
the
what.
tip.
Listen to me. Except for me.
You have to say what has been effective.
In a certain part of the island, and if you buy 2 people lunch, 1 person a bear, and somebody something to smoke, that's loyalty, because
Okay.
no one else out
Oh,
there
they're
actually
doing that,
doing
eh?
that
You
for
see,
them.
if Sebastian run for prime minister, he will win.
Oh, he will.
Yeah.
Oh, right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Right away.
He will, yeah.
If he run, he say
He would-
he's not
he should
past
be
running. No, he probably will run one day. But he say he ain't running in no office. He run PM. He wouldn't run any other office besides the chief keef. But
He would win.
that's a lot of
He would win.
And you know why he
People
would
will vote
win?
for him.
Because of, like I say, in my
Businessman.
class, we did the Royal Bank, and you all know I love Royal Bank, from 1908. What he has done for the community, and I don't think he have the Royal Bank of Canada type of money yet. They've not made any substantial contribution to the Bahamas compared to what he has done.
Even if there are institutions that have made even more substantial contributions, what he has going for him is that he makes them very public.
Yeah, right.
So he has. So a lot of people. The point is that we think, well, oh, what do they ever do? You may not know they don't donated $50,000 to Cancer Society every year or whatever the case may be, but you do notice about assholes about the school drive, bring a trailer to
TV, like
exactly.
every day,
Christmas presents,
always in your face. You can't
always.
yeah.
So
Donald Trump did.
Exactly.
Yeah, always in your face. Yeah, so you know him by the word.
Even switching, I was going to switch conversations a little bit because something I read, I was watching and it was about, I think I read this whole thing about gun violence, right? About these melanin challenge friends, okay? Who they refuse to tag as actual terrorists. They'll say these are mentally ill people, individuals that they managed to capture safely and prosecute. Who just shot 20 people with these weapons, okay? Now every time you say mentioning a gun, what the gun lobbyists do, they cry all you can mess up amendment rights and everything. They're not saying we want to do away with it. We're saying we want to put some control so a psychopath can't walk in and get a gun and kill people, because at the end of the day they're like, well, guns don't kill people, guns. It's both. I could be a mentally ill person, right? And all I have in my hand is marshmallows to hurt you with. Yeah. Or I can have a knife, but I have to do a lot. It takes a lot for me to kill one person with a knife, and it takes me 2 seconds to kill this whole room with one gun. The whole thought that these automatic weapons is that they want to put control on. Yeah, so I say all that to say, but it's these same gun lobbyists who put Trump, who's like backing him heavily, supporting him and everything.
Back them heavily.
Exactly, and they don't want their money to move. They're doing everything in their power except putting control on guns. And I said this, I saw 2 things recently. One, they were trying to blame the gun violence on video games.
Oh, yeah,
okay?
But I agree with that. No. I agree with that.
I don't. Here's why. Here's why. No, here's why I do not. Because video games are everywhere in the world. And only in the US these gun problems are happening. Everybody playing video games.
Where they shot up the mosque.
They did, right?
And other
and I'm saying it happened.
Yeah, but I mean, there are 250. Let me tell you something. I don't know if y'all know this guy who robbed the amateur and got shot in the side of his ear. He is now blind and he goes around. He's an activist trying to save young boys. He, in his interview with I think Darryl Miller or Jones, he said, "Where you were 16 years old, where did you learn to shoot a gun at 16?" Right. That's what he said. Nintendo. That's what he said. That's what I'm just saying. That is what he said. So I partially say they do teach you these things.
I understand that, but I feel like it's such a small subset of people of where it actually happens. Because like you said, these video games, in relation to how prevalent video games around the world and where this concentration of violence happening in the United States, I can't directly correlate them. Okay, and that's fair. That's my whole point about it. More than that, I saw another reading. I think I heard it on radio. I can't remember if I heard it or saw it. But they were like, they're now trying to build public schools like around the possibility of a gun attack. Doing small things like
bulletproof backpacks and all
the bulletproof windows, using to be able to use the furniture and the classroom to hide behind curved hallways so that you can't have a direct line to shoot. Yeah. They'll do all of this. They go on, they put their locks on like video games and stores. They're trying to take them off the shelves and make it difficult. They ain't selling them no more. All of this. They're doing everything in the world besides.
The teachers, remember the teachers were allowed to carry guns. They passed that law that the teachers could carry the gun.
Mentally challenged.
Because I'm not going to bring a gun to school. I'm sorry. What allowed you to do?
Exactly. Or gangsters.
But let me tell you, study from the race perspective, because all of these mass shootings is white.
Exactly. But they're not going to label them. They always label them as one-offs.
Yeah, but let me tell you, only if you do look at the history of serial killing, only white men is serial killing. There's like 1 or 2 black men that did serial killings, and they were. That was that's the Mohammed and the Daddy. Yeah, right. So 90% of the serial killers are white.
But if you look video games as well.
Yeah, but let me tell you another thing. Think about it. You know why they can't ban the psychopaths? Because even if you're a gun enthusiast, that's what they call it, right? Yeah. This is your hobby. And so, in your hobby and your extra money, you may have, just like you go out and buy those old-fashioned cars. You have 5 or 6. Yeah. So, you'll have a room or 2 full of guns, right? Enthusiasts. Only the psychopaths, like the man from Mandalay shooting in the who shot up the festival, who brought 50 guns into the hotel. only people who are crazy
But here's
will
the-
have more than one gun.
Do
Here's
you
my
realize that
Who you going to fight? Why you need
he
five?
used
And,
then
and,
all
and,
the
grenades.
they talking about banning automatic rifles, right? But his guns weren't automatic, you know.
Okay.
He
Okay.
used a bump stock to make them fully
Well,
automatic,
there
so
you
they
go.
were talking about banning bump
So
stocks.
I don't know any gun enthusiasts, but let me ask you: would you want? How
No,
many
they
people
don't
would
talk about
want
banning.
10 guns
They're not talking really
and
about
bomb
banning, you know.
stops and a grenade? And
Here's
how
my
many
thing. Here's my
other
thing
than
about
crazy
it.
people?
Here's why this
Because
argument,
it's
because
100
the whole thing
bullets
about gun
at one
control is not really just to take it off out of everywhere. The whole thing is that to do like
Yeah.
basically not make it as easy. Have some kind of
Yeah, but
psychological check,
only the
right?
crazy people
Are
the
shooting.
support. You could buy one gun and that's it. If you are a hunter, you may have 2 types of gun. But you would not go in every paycheck
Exactly, more than that.
to purchase a gun
More
or
than
to
that.
purchase bullets.
More than that. Why should I care if I'm a same? I know I'm a same person, right? Putting in these kind of mental health checks wouldn't affect me. I could still get my gun. Like it doesn't stop it really
Yeah.
the show. It stops it from
and,
getting
and,
involved.
and the
Right.
thing about it, who's selling them these guns? You could
Ah,
tell me
good question.
you don't know
It's
that.
too
I
easy.
saying listen, I looking for the AK-47.
Gun
I looking for the
lobbyists.
bomb stop. I go into different places, and even if I go into different places, when I have over 100 guns. You have to know me, a KYC.
Listen to me.
You should know who I
The
am.
same,
Okay.
listen to me, the same way. Exactly. I'm just saying, the same way the United States government know when any swire of over 10,000 goes out the country anywhere, they make a report about it. The same way I can't go to BOB at this branch, that branch, and collect my money in large amount, deposit money in large amount. Why? Because they have a network, and they can tell, wait a minute now, why you trying to put so much money in the system or take so much out?
At gun 10, something should flag in the system. At bomb stop request, that's what the name of something should flag in the system. So let's find out. Y'all do that for research for homework.
They don't
Are
want,
there
but like I said,
any KYC
yes.
requirements on these?
No.
No,
No.
you don't have to research
They're
this.
not.
No,
You can just
it's
walk in
not.
Walmart and get
They
it.
have
None.
limited.
None.
They have like you just can't be a criminal. That's basically the restrictions.
But even if I am the gun seller,
But most of the
I
people
don't
who
see-
doing the shootings are criminals.
I see Cargill this year 10 gun, and you tell me when the new automatic something come and call you. You really don't, you know where I can get a bomb.
They don't care.
So
They
let me
making the
ask you
money.
a question.
Don't care.
You are the arms dealer. What you trying to stop your flow of cash?
Yeah,
from?
but come on, you are also a human being.
They don't know human beings.
You ain't
No,
saying,
no, from you.
Cargill,
You realize
What's
like they
going
have
on?
like
Or-
all like
you don't get
gun
tip, you don't get tip,
conventions.
you don't get tip Cargill off, because
That's
he's the
true,
only way your
that's
family is
Here's
easy.
here's my thing.
If,
Yeah.
if every paycheck Cargill coming
Yeah.
down for a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's every paycheck that
So,
that
you
store
never
owner
know.
making every time, so he don't care what you're
But
doing with your
there
gun.
are
His
ways
kids in
around
Europe
that,
in
though.
private school, they don't have got these type of situations.
For real, because I don't see any owners coming on and saying, oh
Listen
my
to me.
God, he was my client.
Listen
He
to
bought
me.
10 of
No.
those, 100 guns.
Listen to
like
me.
in Las Vegas, they have a gun
Have a gun
convention
convention.
where you don't need ID to buy these weapons.
Nothing.
Nothing. Like you go up, you look at the guns. They have all type of guns. You see what you like. If you have the money, you buy it.
That's it. Money
point
talks.
blank.
No KYC, no
Nothing,
KYC,
nothing. So the whole
nothing.
thing
You
about
don't
it is
need
the gun
identification.
companies don't even want to dialogue about any type of control because that's gonna break into their market. So asking for things like IDs and medical, psychological analysis and stuff like that, they don't want that because that's gonna cut into their margin. You affect their money.
Okay, well, again,
Until
no.
sad to say, until. Let's say, because what's getting shut up? These are public schools.
Public schools.
These are majority. These children by
Like
second class.
malls.
Until unfortunately, we not find some wood to knock on because I don't want nothing
Same-
for
the
nobody.
same way how we
Okay.
think about our government until it start hitting
Damn.
their family.
Yeah.
Until it's like hit a
Gotta get
private school, instead of they shoot up, let's say, with the politicians around Washington is hanging around for lunch until they go. Because these people who have these who the CEOs, these gun companies, stuff like that, where their children go to school is in Europe, in Canada, boarding school. Their children are nowhere
Nobody's
near
in the States.
this kind of thing. Okay? I think someone said about in Switzerland, has you can carry a gun, but the ammunition is heavily taxed and very expensive to buy. So you could have guns. So that case, if you're come out of pocket for
Right, and when you
plenty
start
money.
to come out of a pocket, that should be a red flag to somebody that
Yeah, like-
every paycheck, this person here.
Exactly. You could think twice about shooting a $100 bullet or whatever. I don't know how much it costs, but I'm
Yeah.
saying these things, they don't care what's going on. The same reason why they're talking about like the GMO companies that sell this garbage and food. They're turning organic.
Yeah.
Okay, they'll put these carcinogens in your food because they're using them.
Yeah.
And they know not to feed it to
They
their
know,
family.
yeah.
They ain't gonna let that stuff come in their household.
So you can't rely on human will and conscience and everything like that and integrity, because once that don't hit the bottom line, they asked a lady, the Sanders lady who was Trump press person, when they asked her about the woman. When they asked her about the children in cage, she said, well, the brother they got really said, now you have children, okay? You have children. Could you imagine your children in a cage somewhere? And she just was like, well, they shouldn't have come in the country, and she just moved along with it, because her point was, these ain't shouldn't look at these children the same way she look at home insurance. As far as they're concerned, these are children of a lesser caliber, caste, and quality, because they're not Americans.
Okay, so back to my point. Only poor people pay bills. Only poor people suffer. We cannot be poor people. Okay? We cannot. We have to be the leaders. We cannot depend. We will. We are right now a part of the people who getting these poisons, these cancers, gaining all this weight, or we cannot be poor.
I saw the same said poverty breeds poverty.
Yep.
And you're like, you know, you don't have the money to do regular cleanings, check up for your teeth. So you gotta come up with braces. You don't have the money to eat, because salads cost 10 times as much as a McChicken. You can't afford quality groceries, so you gotta pay the doctor. You know what I mean? You can't afford to miss work, whatever. You stressing yourself out when you have a breakdown. Like poverty beats poverty, and it's right. Money makes money. Money makes money. That's always, and that's why we fail to do as a Bahamian community. We fail to really grasp generational wealth. You have countries and people in France and Italy, they have this thing down back. They have money that their ancestors hundreds of years ago didn't make, and they have children.
You know why Albany came about? Because Life-a-Key is old money. Albany is new money. There are people from Albany, people who won the lottery, who came by chance and whatever. They were not welcome in Life-a-Key, and they built their own community. There's no respect on Albany from Life-a-Key. None.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either, because Albany popping.
It's popping because that's new money. But they can only approach Life-a-Key people in the next 20 years.
But you see how funny it is, even within the upper crust of society, how there's still this classism. Okay? It's everywhere.
It's always going to be tribalism.
Yep.
Oh boy.
So make sure you're in the right class. And at least we go in there with our integrity, we go in there with our network, we go in there that say it should be more people that look like me that up there with me. I don't want 50 people around me, and these people are my neighbors who think that I am dirt. You know what I mean? So I want somebody ought to be there with me.
As you said, I read and I have to use the word vile report. It's interesting you were talking about this last night. I have to go back and see where it popped up from. It's some sort of group or something in Nassau, and they were talking a lot about East versus West, and they were saying all sorts of things about Life-a-Key. I mean, I thought it was valid because I thought it got to the extreme. It said it was called the Bahamas. It's not a real place. I mean, if you type in...
that's actually a running joke. When somebody did an article for it, it's a running joke, actually.
Yeah, but it's not a funny running joke.
No.
It's out there in the...
No. I don't know what that article, that model may have been vile, but the reason why they titled it that is because when people record like just funny random things that you don't normally see, they'll tag it the Bahamas are a real place. Not to say they're trying to discredit, it's just these are the only things you'll see in the Bahamas.
Right,
so they might have used that.
That's what they use, and because they use that, a lot of people are actually reading it. And when you read it, it goes in depth. It speaks about every section of the Bahamas. It talks about Pinewood, it talks about Carmichael Road, it talks about, do you actually live out west if you live Gladstone Road. It talks about it was like
they'll say that. Some of it was far Carmichael, they say west.
Some of it was so bad that I was like, why would somebody...
It started off as a joke. Somebody said it.
But did they lie?
Why would you write something so negative about your own place?
But did they lie?
No, some parts of it was ridiculous.
He was being comical, or he was actually just being the fair?
I couldn't tell if it was being comical because I found it offensive. I found it to be very offensive because I would not sit down and write a
Social media.
10-page article
That's people with
negative
nothing to
about
do.
Trinidad and Tobago, I wouldn't do it. Even if
I
I knew
can't.
it, I wouldn't do it.
I can't say I wouldn't do it. Maybe in poor taste, but if this person,
It was
he might have
horrible.
exaggerated, but if he didn't lie, unfortunately, these
It
are
was
things
exaggerated. A lot
that
of it
Bahamians
was
don't want to really
exaggerated.
admit and accept because we want to look like paradise. And he's not the first or the last person to have done that. Now, I had a particular
It was
problem.
exaggerated.
You probably saying funny. I think I know what you mean.
I would find.
It's
I would
true.
find.
It's
and
true.
I'd send that to you.
Promote, you'd be like, wow, we really
I would
live in a
say
country that does that.
I haven't read that yet, and I probably will, and I maybe laugh, maybe not laugh, who knows? But I think I know the article you mean. The only thing I've ever found ridiculously offensive was I read an article some time ago, long time ago. It was about an expat around 2008, 2007 who moved here, right? Who wanted to ride out the wave of the recession in the States, and he talked so bad about things about the Bahamas, and not necessarily from the standpoint of, like how you say. Like he talked things like about Bahamian women, how they're just so overweight and disgusting, and how the whole country just this person is selling peanut on the corner, this person's doing this, and how we lack.
This is an expert.
This is a person who don't live here, who don't belong here, and who must seem so miserable here. How it's overly expensive and really not worth the glitz and glamour.
Well, that's how
and
the person who live here
sound like they said
to me, and I don't think we should say it's okay. It's not okay if somebody on the outside writes bad about this, but it's okay for us to write bad about ourselves for other people to read.
I agree, but I was like you said, I would not know the context, right? Because you have in this video some things you have things that is funny because it's true, or is he just trying to outright bash? This guy wasn't trying to be funny; he was outright bash. He said the only saving grace was Nagad place and how there was always with supermodels around it, and I said this person obviously don't know nothing about nothing, but it looked really bad from us, someone who don't know. Now, if I grow up and I say I really see some things in Nassau, we see some things, we know what's going on. We're talking about our corruption, you know.
What I'll say about the bashing, the government is really good at that because back to Albany, when they went down there to meet, and Albany, have some issues because the government did swing them initially, and then they got the property, and then it was all sorts of stuff. They lost a lot of money, and so when the government went for their visit, he started off with, basically, y'all swingers. Got those members, at least 7 of them got up and left the meeting and say, you don't insult us in our own country. And then even right now in the news, the Compass Point guy had threatened if the government doesn't do something. They say, remember that you're a visitor. So that's their good. So they are good at, when it's in the media that they remind them that you are visiting and be respectful.
BTC as well. Something with BTC too, another guy.
Yes. The guy from Trinidad said something that I met with the Prime Minister, BTC.
The BTC, that was recent.
Yeah, they apologized, right?
Apologized. I think he got fired.
I
think I saw something about that, but it goes to show.
It goes to
and
show
then
you.
Royal Bank.
I believe he got fired.
I didn't see the
Royal Bank guy too got fired.
But that's just it, and we're clownish like that, and that may just be the way we are, right? And because you will see the whole Bahamas getting up. Remember, Sean, they do the dive thing, and someone tried to say the shit is the whole Bahamas was behind it. Because I think is you don't talk about us. Let us talk about us, but you don't talk about us, and that's just similar. Your sister could tell you something. And then someone can tell you something, like, hold on now.
I don't want you to misunderstand my point.
No, I know what you're trying to say.
The point I'm making is, we still have to remember exactly what is our bread and butter, tourism and everything like that.
Yeah.
So when we may read something that is in social media and that is comical, and somebody else on the outside reads
take it out of context.
They could take
I agree.
it out of context. So we have to also
I agree.
Because you said that. Kim had a little bit homework. You got to that part. Kim, about the value proposition.
What was that?
The value proposition, is it still the sun, sand, and sea? The Bahamas.
My homework was, sorry?
Kim, the value proposition of the Bahamas. Remember we discussed it and we said it was sun, sand, and sea. And you was going to do a little bit of research to see if that still was it? Look at Kim like, not me, Miss Bullet, not me.
No, I remember, seriously.
You don't remember us talking about that? Look at your papers, you wrote it down.
Last week?
Yeah, last week. Go ahead, tell you. Good thing I say come up here, Kim, and share. You, because you wanted to better understand GDP.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
We talk about it. Yes.
Next week.
I remember looking at it when you talked because I think the question that you went over was about GDP, and you were talking about how
quoting it and not understanding it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about how when I read it, talked also about how 20% of our second industry, which is the
Yeah,
financial
yeah,
industry,
yeah,
was like
yeah.
20%. And now, because of the regulations and all these other stuff that came, it's now at 17.
No, we lost 17.
Lost
3%.
17, so now it's
Yeah.
at 3%.
Mhm.
So that also has affected our GDP.
Yeah, but I wanted you to understand GDP, how it works. And then I wanted you to go and find out, because I want, when you go out and have this conversation, I want you to speak to it knowledgeably. You know, a lot of us say that because we read that, but do we know what that really means? Right, and then our value, then for some reason we talked about value proposition, so I said, I know it's sun, sand, and sea, but at a forum, the minister had said, we are tweaking our value proposition, so I don't know what they tweaked it to or what it changed, what else they added. And so, just so you would know, you know, because everybody knows the sun, what does the Bahamas have? Sun, sand, and sea, right? But do we know the terminology? What is your, if an expat will come up and ask you, what is your value proposition, you know what he means? Okay, so that's why I wanted him to familiarize, but
So-
you all do the that's 3 pieces of research. No man, it's for you. When you go there talking out your head,
I thought
and the
she
people
was going to tell
walk
us.
from you,
I thought she was going to tell us.
they're gonna say, thank God she's beautiful.
You said, you said 3, so what was number 2?
What was the first one? Understanding GDP. Because we say that banking was 20%, we lost 17, now it's 3%. All the banks are closed, all the private banking went out the door, blah, blah, blah. But we understand what GDP is, gross domestic product, yeah, but do we understand? Okay, and then we talked some more, and then value proposition came up, and I said, you know what, I overheard the minister say something to the effect of they was gonna tweak the value proposition, so what else is he offering? Sun, sand, sea, what else? You know, so that was a big topic, because, again, it was an expat who was trying to speak negatively of the Bahamas, and you haven't even adjusted your value proposition for the last 20 years. What else do you have in Sunshine and Sea? Like, why else would an investor come here and blah, blah, blah? She was running on. And from their rebuttal, they put it in the whole seminar. You know what I mean? And then they talked about it again when we got blacklisted, because she tied that in. But your value proposition hasn't been adjusted from this and that and whatever. What do you expect? What's going to happen when you tax these people? What are you selling them? Private banking is gone. You know what I mean? So, and so it was an interesting conversation. So you have to be able to, you know, you don't know who you will meet. You don't want to dismiss anybody, because you should be able to learn. You know, you aren't trying to build friendship, but you're trying to network and build colleagues. You know, see their point of views. You know what I mean? And then when you speak to other customers, you could use the same, you know what I mean? That should help you, because, I mean, for the type of customers, Deltec and, yeah, bank trying to get, you know what I mean? These important, you know, conversations to have.
By the way, the
Yeah.
Bahamas Financial Services Board has a whole document on the Bahamas value
Your proposition, okay,
Oh,
good.
gosh.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's good.
We read that, like I say, if it's very long, read the introduction, look at the table of contents, and then read the conclusion. But understand it, so you speak the correct terminology when you go to these functions. Oh, wow. You will leave them impressed. Wow. I never thought Troy added it in. Right? Troy needs to be on our board of directors. Can somebody recruit him? Right?
And hunters.
There you go. That's our next CEO. There you go. There you go. Claim it. Okay, good. We answering this question.
So I have a question about a question. You know, like, it says discuss the fraud cases and the outcome of the investigations. Is that all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? All?
I would say 3. I was gonna
How
put,
many?
I had to tweak the question and I wrote it, so I just took out a lot of it. But 3.
3?
If you want 20 points, I would discuss 3 of them.
Yeah, because I see it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you don't have to do all 7. But remember now, when you discuss those 3, you get the meat.
I know.
Right? And so how are we gonna start this question? Troy going down to the Bank of the Bahamas and he put a scanner on their, ATM and he copied a couple of cards. That's what we do, cause I know one of the cases is set in Fiji, right?
Yeah.
So
Fiji
being a
Turtle
start
Resort.
that, so we could be talking about three of them, right? So, who is the Egmont group? Let's start there.
Exactly.
What you talking about? What happened in there?
What
It,
Fiji?
we
what
just
you
telling
talking
you,
about?
there's the Varoli and Fiji turtle, there's Serbia, there's Rosenfin monitoring in Russia, there's the Western Union fraud, there's currency, and there's Turks Ponzi scheme.
Oh,
That's how many there are. So
7.
that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Excellent,
So
Michelle.
she said 2, 3.
Okay.
You need 20 points.
They the 7
Charlie,
in front page.
I straight.
Yes.
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 That's what I was wondering. So the Ponzi scheme counts too? No, I'm set. Don't say.
One of them was,
One of them
this
was a-
asked
was a Ponzi
specifically
scheme.
for, yeah, for
But,
fraud,
yeah.
yeah.
I know the one in Guernsey was a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't remember them words,
I
yeah.
remember.
Now go ahead, good, cause you need 2 and you need 20 points.
20 points.
I think it's 20 points.
There you go. So 3, and again, this was the mandatory question, okay? And there were 2 papers. The other mandatory question was on a current development, and the current development was recommendation 24. So
Say
what
that
is
again.
recommendation 24 and explain the developments that the Bahamas made to satisfy that. Okay, but of course, if that's gonna be the mandatory question, we'll go over that. But I sure this could be this, something like this could be in there somewhere. Right, so how we starting this? How we get our first part, 5 points? Cause somebody came in the exam and say, excuse me, Miss Bullet, who's the Egmont group?
Okay.
And you
I have a
cringed
response
internally.
I have a response to that. It's over.
Sweet girl, go home.
I said, do you realize that is the mandatory question? Do you realize that? Okay. Because remember now, when I gave you all this book, the first week I said there are typologies at the back, there are cases, you go through them, you know what I mean? But like I said, I was my teaching plan for the day is come in, write this on the board, and let them answer it and give them a grade.
I'm glad you lose that plan.
I had to, because I mean, like
The Lord
I
is
say,
working with
I,
you. He's
I,
guiding your path. I feel it. I feel like he's talking
I
to you.
whip you all for this.
He's pleading on my behalf.
I whip you all, but no more whipping.
No, no.
I am so glad that you used that
You're just getting a glow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can get a big bonus this
Extra
year.
favor,
Like
thank
this
you.
favor could just come through and you'd be like, that's because I ain't the seat of his turn.
No, but no, but see, the thing about it is, I take the time to get this, know where the class is, and whatever you all need, you know what I mean? I don't feel that you all need more than any other class. What happened with my other classes is persons just halfway through, they just drop it and say, you know, I can't do this no more.
I would say, maybe, and of course the mock, you have to sit down and practice actually doing the exam again, but I think I do better research when we have it for homework.
Okay.
And I can take my time and research multiple things, it's how I can title and theory, thinking through as opposed to that pressured, you're sitting in it for 2 hours and everything. I feel like I got
An
more
exam.
from the homework,
Yeah.
from doing it as homework.
The quizzes are just to make you regional.
Well,
That's
it's
the whole
the same
purpose.
thing the homework's doing, is actually making
Yeah.
us read more as opposed to so much.
You, what my topic was, come there.
I'm so sorry,
Yeah,
but
no
I had to
problem at
give
all.
you something.
Yeah. What my class started with last week, I think you missed it. You was here last week?
Yeah.
What was the byword of the day?
Plagiarism.
No, I think she missed the thing.
She missed the thing.
She missed that. No, but she get it.
the whole
She get
lot
it.
of it.
The drama.
She gave us a what you call it, apocalyptic.
That's why
Oh, okay.
I missed it too.
No, I came for the whole thing. I wasn't at the class before that. MS1 class.
But you got the gist of it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was coming. You were on ticket.
I have a question that bugs me because there are 40 recommendations. So what is the likelihood that we just be randomly asked on any one of them?
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't have to quote the recommendation. The big thing last year was risk, and it's still, it trickled over
It's still
into this
risk.
year because the assessments were due this year. So of course, that's recommendation 1.
Yeah,
If you don't know recommendation
No, we know
1
that,
after
yeah.
you done it
Just
right
go
10
home.
times, just go home. You know,
No,
it's
no
just-
one, just
Skip
10
for
or
life.
12. and-
Yeah, and then, like I said, another current thing with recommendation 24, and so the
Which is
mandatory
transparency.
question was, 24, but we discussed that extensively. So, close to, how many more weeks we have? Let's see.
Only?
Four more weeks.
That's
Okay,
it?
so October the 3rd.
I'm gonna take up.
Yeah, when, by the time we have the review,
So scary.
because you know, even though this book is, I don't, you know, I have my qualms about it, I test from the book, because I want to say that, because I always, you know, even though you say, why we have to read the entire chapter, you know, I always make you, after I talk to you to death for 2 hours, then we read the chapter, right? So, yeah, I get test from the book. The other examiners like to test from the current events or whatever, but I say, you know, they are supposed to be reading the newspaper, but you have to keep coming back. Did you read the newspaper? Did you, what's happening, whatever, they like to pick. But if they were indeed reading the newspaper, they would know. So I try to be a little bit more fair in what
We
you
appreciate
discuss, you know, extensively.
We
Like,
appreciate that.
definitely these questions.
If I
will be
miss
there.
one day, I failed my question because I
No,
really.
you miss one day, you watch it online. You get network, you have these person's numbers, you ask
I mean
them
the
what to do.
newspaper.
No, but we having a
What is
discussion.
somebody's paper?
Oh, no discussion about it.
I'm trying to think of a BPL question right now to make it AML and put it on. Y'all done give me my one for gun control. What KYC is required when you go and get a gun? Because that's local terrorism. Or domestic is what they call it. Right? So of course. Thank you all for that. And y'all go on, that's one of your homework questions, so if whoever don't do it.
Okay, well, I
What's
say
the
required.
requirements to purchase?
In the US or the
To
or the
prevent.
Bahamas?
Oh,
Where you want it?
It's the US had the 250 domestic terrorism acts
For the year.
for the year.
Canada has
So
had
far.
21 since 1888.
Okay,
Video games sold in both.
yeah, that's how I should tie that in too.
What?
Wait, hold
Hi,
on.
what?
Y'all slow down, okay? All right,
already have
so
4 questions.
that's the homework, right?
You already have 4 questions for knowledge, just for your own knowledge and discussion.
So you're saying make sure we
So
look into
everybody's on the same page. Can we have the 4 questions again?
Well, the first one is on the board.
The first one is one of
That-
the
Right, that's the first one.
Uh-huh.
The second one,
understand GDP.
Right.
And value
the
proposition.
third one, what is the value
Third,
proposition
so
of the
that's
Bahamas?
one question?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
value proposition.
Position.
The Bahamas.
that's one question or that's
Oh,
two?
that's
I
two,
thought
whatever
value
you were
But this
there.
is for our own edification.
Yeah, for your own edit,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the third question.
not
So we gotta write it down?
handed in or nothing
Don't
like
freak
that.
out.
Whichever way you will retain it.
Okay.
Just don't read it and don't understand it.
What you said about
So if you
So-
write it down, write it in your own words, so to show.
Yeah, to be purchased in the
So
US.
what, so that's the only one we have to hand in?
We hand it in, you be doing this now.
Oh, okay.
Huh? I'm confused. And I don't get confused.
I'm confused right now.
We done talk too much, it's 12 o'clock.
I know, so that's why I said, so that's homework then.
So that-
Okay, yeah,
that's
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't lobbying for homework, you know. I just try
I
to make
lobby-
sure
we just say
I
lobbying
don't
for
come
classwork.
next week and you say, this was homework and I got something else.
Yeah, so for homework to give to you is that.
Yes.
Okay.
All the other things we're discussing, you're proposing that we, whatever
We-
method.
we-
Yeah,
we
just
look
for
it up
knowledge
and learn it for
purposes,
your own
knowledge
Our own
purposes.
method.
And then I popped in like, hey, what is the current event and domestic, how can I tie it to AML, and we talked about gun control
And then
and
we
whatever, and I
talked
said that's domestic
Read up
terrorism,
on
yes,
301
definitely.
China for
Trade, right,
next
the
week.
trade one, right.
I, only because I said this is what Geronimo said, he talked about,
Yeah,
it-
that's
that's
all about it.
happening,
I
and
understood
again,
that part.
just for,
I
cause y'all
understood that
reading
part,
the
so
newspaper
that we
every
could- so that
day,
we could
come and share,
have that
right,
out.
cause
So
y'all
that
have
means-
not been sharing what y'all been reading in the newspaper, right?
I got you.
Right.
So I say a lot of things, go ahead.
No, I was really, like, it just really clicked when you tie it into terrorism, persons can just go in and purchase a gun, like, that just
Yeah.
really clicked.
Domestic
To me
terrorism,
just
right?
now,
It just clicked to
like,
me
wow.
too.
And
First
the
it started
controls.
off with by KY, what KY, I was just saying what KYC is
Yeah, it
required.
really ties in.
And then I say, you know, so that's why it's good we brainstorm and we leverage off each other. That's excellent, thank you.
Well, I want
You
to
know
tell
what-
And
you-
now I can put that on your final. So if you all don't go and do what you're supposed
So
to
I
do.
want to tell you about something I read, right? Which I wouldn't have paid any attention to if I didn't come to this class. The whole tax evasion scandal with the Chrisley people and their daughter. You read about that?
Getting
The-
into
the-
college?
No, this is the Chrisley family on NBC, the show with Todd Chrisley
I
and
only
his
saw the
wife.
head, I saw it,
That's
yes.
a whole tax
Yes.
drama that's going on where they apparently, of course, you know, when people have plenty of money, it's easier to get more money. So they will do a whole fraudulent thing, and because they're the Chrisleys, they will go to the bank and they borrow millions of dollars, and then they wouldn't pay the money back. And then they haven't been paying their taxes like practically forever. And the case ended up being a double case because in addition to them being accused of fraud, their eldest daughter, they went to her and asked her to lie about some documents that they were supposed to do. And she said, I'm not going to lie. If the police comes to me, I'm going to tell them the truth.
Okay.
So what they said is that they have a sex tape of her and some...
They're gonna release it.
And they're going to release the sex tape. This is their own
You
daughter
sure this
now.
ain't all in for reality TV? But
No,
how did Kim,
no,
think about it. How did
It's
Kim Kardashian become popular?
Listen to me.
Sex tape.
It was like...
So everybody
Yeah, but they
think, I
didn't
mean,
really
and
have no
see,
drama going on
didn't
in
have
their
any-
family
no, they-
background, so.
No,
But-
yeah,
Okay.
I don't think this one is reality TV related.
no, okay,
But there
okay.
is some serious
Problems for tax
for
evasion.
tax evasion.
Okay.
Major. I mean, the sex scandal part of it came aside because they wanted to get her to lie about what she knew, and she said she wasn't going to lie. So I don't know if the tape exists or what. But on
But
the other
people-
hand,
But
they are under
I don't
serious
think,
issues.
what I'm saying is to threaten her with putting out a sex tape when Kim Kardashian became who she is
I
because
gonna
of her
say, like,
sex
if I was a
tape.
woman
So
and you tried to
therefore,
give her
that's
sex
not,
tape,
that may
right?
do her more good than harm.
Let me
You
see.
know what I mean?
And the fact that her parents,
She's not even in the show. This is the daughter who's
Oh,
not in the show.
she's not in the
Is her
show.
parents say they're going to do it?
She's not in the
But
show at
they
all.
trying
Is her
to
parents trying to do it?
blackmail her for the
Father,
sex
yeah.
tape.
That's weird.
You never watch
That's
it, they
weird.
very,
So
they
you
had
know
a
that-
They
show.
always had a bad relationship.
Yeah, you could potentially
I know
go to
that,
jail
yeah.
for lying.
Yeah, that guy who's come on, he looks very
Odd.
suspicious, yeah.
No, I know what you mean, but I just think no matter what, a parent
I
is
said,
supposed to do that. Sounds odd.
I said if I was a
Yeah,
woman.
but his eldest daughter is not in the show. She's not a
She's
star.
more than likely.
What you mean?
But me being a
About-
man,
She's saying
About the sex
how they
tape?
were blackmailing her. As a woman, and you tell me you're gonna leak my sex tape unless
But
you give
in
me-
us, see, we
Us,
gotta
we
think
different.
globally.
We're different.
In the Bahamas, yes, but in America, where that has made Kim Kardashian who she is, leak it, please.
That made each
Yeah, but this girl is not
Yeah.
in the show, and she's not a reality
He
TV
did.
person.
They make
But
two
she
songs.
was.
He
I
loved
would
that
say so, but
this
she
is
is
child.
somebody who's not in the limelight.
I feel
at
Yeah,
all.
but watch how much people
Voyeurism is a
approach
different
afterwards.
Well, we see.
voyeurism is a different thing, but I
It depends on the
tape.
tape.
Depends on the tape.
Voyeurism.
Depends on the tape.
Yeah.
You're not a woman.
Yeah, the tape.
I'm sorry to say it.
Amen.
It's a bit different.
Thank
Yeah,
God
she
I'm
may
not a
get,
woman.
she may get
It's a bit
more.
different.
I see how it's easier
She
for
may
you.
get more.
Thank God I'm
So
not a
I,
woman.
on Facebook too, not even Kim Kardashian, this guy caught his girlfriend cheating and he put out her nudes on Facebook. And she had
A nice
she had the
body.
clothes, she had a nice body, she had the
So
clothes,
people were-
This girl never will
her
agree.
Facebook account because the number
Got
of
blew
friends,
up.
it blew.
It
She
blew
went
up with
viral.
fast
Like
requests.
she
Yes,
got,
Exactly.
even
blew
though
up.
she got,
So-
even though it was bad, she got so
So
much
many
press.
likes,
Like, it's
so
like,
much-
That's
Yes.
at some point in time she probably wanted. If she sent these her boyfriend in confidence, so that even if she had a
Trust
good
me,
body,
I
you
totally
know,
agree.
you gotta think about the round
Like,
place to have enough
I don't
family.
think that's a
I understand,
Why
but
would
that's
you
the
do
thing.
that?
This is her family
Even if she-
threatening
No, not
to
a family. It could be a
blackmail her.
family. It could be a
Orchestrate the
job.
sex tape aspect
Okay, it
for
could be
her
any other
benefit
future
to make
relationship
money.
that she have. Like,
They
you know,
are
girl, that's
in
one
problems
the need
for
to.
fraud.
Like, it affects
Yeah,
people whether you have a nice
yeah.
body or not. That's her privacy. If she
Yeah,
didn't
they,
publish
I
it
don't
herself,
watch that
I
one
think
because
that's
that
more-
is,
'cause
he look
for
too
men,
suspect,
like,
he has turned me off.
You can tell.
When
Yes.
somebody needs something, like we see it, and then like the
So
next
I-
week we
like,
forget
how do
about it.
you
Like
have
if we
these
see the
children
girl
and
and we
why did
remember the
someone
photo,
marry
we'll
you?
probably
Okay,
try to
let
pick
me-
her up or something.
okay,
But
let me-
Now I
like,
know.
like
Yeah.
it ain't like
What do you
fraud.
do?
it ain't like the end of the world. Like oh,
Yeah.
a man
I
probably
saw
would.
you.
Some men
Let me
do
give you an
that.
Let's see what I
example.
call
One
that.
of the
That's what
girls
it's
that's in the EJ video, she works for our company, right?
Uh-huh.
All of the men, yeah, they talk to us, she's polite. Every conversation in her phone is, when can I pick you up? None of them take us seriously. She's professional, but all they look at her is, I know what you could do. So it's like, you can't, she has to be a certain reach.
but this
You
is not
never
this
get
is
over
not
something
sort of
like that.
most men are like that. So
So-
you just have
but
to
you-
vet and
but
see.
you-
and
No,
see.
they can use their imagination, but they don't have to use their
Thank you.
imagination.
Most men
time,
don't have to use their
BPL.
imagination.
Counterparty risk.
And I always say that too.
BPL.
Just walking around.
Everybody walking around every
Counterparty
show.
risk.
They don't even have to use their
Again,
imagination.
everybody ain't some people are,
Counterparty.
and that it has different connotation. The way a woman dressed has a direct correlation to how a man is treated.
Exactly.
Even if you kind of like her, you know, just
There's
just
a
somebody
man
holding
made a
holding a
spin
dog open
being
it's
recorded.
like the way it
Juanita, you
was.
keeping up with this? Juanita, you
Or
in
something.
discussion?
Sorry,
What
darling.
are you all talking
Sorry.
about?
Yeah,
That'd be a whole different.
Yeah, you talking about-
I apologize.
Basically,
Okay, back to
Yes, you like to-
Egmont Group.
Counterparty risk.
No, she was saying, how can I tie in BPL? I said, counterparty
We're
risk.
talking about BPL.
Yeah.
I get it closer, I get something got caught in my brain. Another discussion.
What about BBL?
How I can, counterparty risk, how I can make a question out of that for the exam. That affecting us, everybody
But
all
that
day.
I would if I
Except you generator people who
If
have
I
to-
would've
Sorry,
answered that,
Troy, I know you can't relate, I know you can't relate.
I would have said something like based on the risk. They probably would consider on their risk appetite and decide to take it on based on the fact that they have a monopoly. You know what I mean? Their counterparty is actually minimal because when everything up and running, people can forget about all this whole thing and go life will
This
go on as
question
usual.
5? Question 5?
This is say what counterparty risk, right?
Yeah.
So this is how I would have approached it in that regard.
No, I'm trying, I'm looking for a question.
She's looking
to
for a
give you all, put on
question
your
to give
final
to us.
exam.
Oh, sorry.
That's why.
Scratch from the record. Scratch what I say from the record.
Hey, never mind.
I didn't say anything.
No, but all of this could make us better and make sure you all attend. Somebody, she said she sent a lot of conferences. Get out and.
I sent a lot of, all the things that I read for this week on China, I sent everything, I sent the G7, I sent that tax thing, I sent Pakistan being blacklisted, I sent a lot of stuff.
And see, she already break it down and say there are 7 cases, pick 3. So everybody thank Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, can we go now?
So,
Okay, first tell me who's the, I don't want y'all to just jump in this question and start telling me but Fiji, or start telling me but this place.
Serbia would be considered fraud?
Serbia,
Yes, it was, yeah.
it's 7 cases.
It was a fraud
fraud case.
Man, Troy, how much you want from me now, man? That is there.
But I try to expect me to have all these
Take
stuff in
my
my
word for
brain.
it, it's there.
Troy, I look over it. I can't remember everything. I done talk for 2 hours. I can't remember everything.
That's how highly I think of you, Mr.
Right. Okay, thank you, Troy. Thank you. I just
Your
open up in the middle of the
compliance
night saying,
library
what I
is
got for
impressive.
the night. Thank you.
We're trying to
But tell me who the Egmont group is first. How? 20 points. Let me give you all 5 points for just explaining
Troy, go ahead.
the group.
Take the floor.
She volunteer you, Troy?
Take the floor.
Now?
Here we go in,
It's
but I
homework.
just want you to
She's trying
help.
to help.
I trying to help you with homework because I don't want to come back and give. I am not tolerating nonsense any longer. You get 50%, and that's 50% if you was gonna get full marks. If you ain't getting full marks, you down to 40, 30, and 10%. That is break my heart, but I did it. I said no. They getting 10%.
I decline her nomination and I nominate Fred.
Never did that before you decline it.
20 points. Who the Egmont group is? Who will come in the final exam and ask me, Miss Puppet, who the Egmont group is again?
I got 6 goods.
I just quit. I have to slap this person and just quit. I'm sorry. I just leave. I say, what? Nobody, anybody?
A group of financial intelligence units that came together and they sanitized some cases so that we could learn from it.
Yes.
How better to understand money laundering and terrorist financing.
Okay, and so this particular group was on fraud. So of course, on the final exam, I'm gonna put fraud.
You know, you're gonna put.
So we have to read all the typologies.
I saw
Money
it.
laundering.
Yeah,
Sit
so
down, man.
let me go back to my book.
What our word is domestic terrorism. Pretend that you are from the U.S.
What? Act like I better than everybody else? That's what the US people do.
So, any case that you watch on Dirty Money, any case that you can properly explain, and so when you write, like there are 7, and you may say, okay, this is the shortest one, let me go with this.
Or the
But
most
will
interesting.
you get full points.
If you wanna tie
Can you
it,
probably explain it?
we have to pick the, from the three Edmund.
I said 3 is reasonable.
No, I'm saying, based from this pool, like we can be bringing other
Yeah,
cases.
yeah, I
and-
just, yeah, we just said the Edmund group. This went further on to say, or any other typology you are familiar with.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
But I can't just give you the whole question, what is wrong with you? This is it. No, but
No,
this is what you are using for practice.
No, I just wanna know if I want to reference.
Yeah.
If you want somebody to reference like a different fraud
Yeah,
case.
yeah.
Or not.
But be able to properly explain it. Because, you know, we know some cases, but we don't know the outcome, we don't know what
Oh,
happened,
that's
we don't
true.
know, yeah.
Just better say, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's anybody, I mean, everybody who watched Dirty Money wrote on HSBC. Everybody, and they got full points. Because we talked about that and we talked about that and, you know, they was very excited.
So for Egmont, you could come to us with money laundering and human trafficking instead. That's what you're saying just now.
Possibly. But I want y'all to know who this group even is.
They know who it is. They're just ready to go.
Okay, since y'all ready to go, okay, just, once y'all get it, that's fine, I rest my case. I just gotta make sure y'all get it, and because I don't want to be crying, marking papers in the dark.
Because they never have
Yeah,
power.
there you go. So, I'm watching out for y'all grades. Don't copy the whole case from the book, don't find it online and paste it to your paper, please. Please don't do that. Read it and understand it, and then reiterate it. And like that says, mandatory question. Mandatory. So you will see it again. Practice now, or forever hold your peace. Okay, Juanita?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So don't get overwhelmed. You already know it's 7. Stick with 3. You know, don't read all 7. Read 3 and, you know. And Michelle, you don't come giving me all 7 because I'm marking all of them. After 3, she could write on all 7 and I could get a point for this, I know. After 3, that's it, you get no
I'm
more
going
points.
to choose 3 that I enjoy.
There you go. And then in the exam, you say answer 7 the essays out of 10. Some people answer 10 and pray that Miss Bullock can read all 10 of them. No. I read the first 7 and them 3, if you was get 100%, I read it and say, oh well, too bad, they should have write that one first. So, do 7. I mean,
You do
yeah.
3. You see, you
Yeah,
say do 7.
do 3. No, I mean on the question, it'll be, on the exam, it's gonna be the 7 essays. Right? Or you will have 4 essays and 1 mandatory with 20. It depends, we'll see.
I like the second option.
I can't even remember which one.
20 and 4 and mandatory, 4 and up.
4
So
and,
this-
I know,
this-
mandatory 20.
So there's
Sure.
4 essays on the exam.
4 essays and 1
And
mandatory.
1 mandatory.
Or
Or
7.
7 essays.
I mean, nobody does 7.
20
essays.
multiple choice, 20.
Could you do no multiple choice at all?
No
Could that be an
multiple
option?
choice?
No man, multiple choice.
I
I
hate
hate
that.
it.
You need that multiple choice.
Yeah, more test
I
different.
hate
Yeah,
that.
20 multiple choice.
I
But
hate
I
that.
started off with the first multiple choice question, which was it? Who remembers?
KYC.
If KYC is required,
Or do customer due diligence.
Okay, which one?
KYC.
Okay, but everybody is put
As one multiple choice
everybody is
question, she
saying
said 20.
CBD.
As one I get right.
I'm good with it eliminating. I'm
We went through already the penalty for tipping off and what it is, failing to declare and stuff like that. No, I mean in intro, they all tested on that already. Yeah, so that's fine. You could look them up. The penalty for tipping off, the penalty.
That's in this
for-
book as well.
Yeah,
In this book?
yeah.
I can be able to test it. Yeah.
No, cause I mean, we would have covered
You
that.
should be able to.
Some other stuff.
It's just brief, like.
Good, yeah, it's just like a little star
Like how it
footnote.
is.
Yeah,
Like a
only
footnote.
20. True, 10, true and false, 10, you know. Yeah, but you all say you all prefer the 4 essays and the 1 mandatory.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
switch up into 7 different
Yeah.
topics and switch
Yeah.
gears. That's a lot.
Okay.
As opposed
No,
to
but
focusing.
like three of the questions will be the same. So if you have friends, you will answer the 3
You
questions
answer the
that
questions.
talk about the FATF. But for some reason, people is just
I
go
pick one after.
one FATF. Yeah.
Answering one will help
No,
you answer the other.
that true
Yes,
if I do know.
yes. And it'll
It's a
help you
written test.
understand the AML, I mean the true and false and the thing, but people,
It's a handwritten exam.
yes.
Okay.
So please print, please. Troy, when Troy start, he didn't know where he going, he is joining on, he start joining on fast and keep going.
No, when my
No.
hand gets tired.
No.
I get tired.
You, then Troy is decide, she say 7, but I can give her 5. So I just be looking, you know, you just be trusted.
You look
But
for
the
the
rest of
rest.
Troy questions, he up to A right now. If he answer these 2 more questions, he could get A.
You mean on the test?
And
On
I
the that time,
No,
Troy
no,
just didn't
no.
answer. Troy didn't answer.
My
You would do that
paper-
more than once.
You
You
were
do
done.
that more than
paper was
once.
misplaced. We talking about the final exam? Multiple choice questions?
I lost. I had everybody else.
Correct,
paper
class.
except-
Except Troy.
Now,
I
answer this.
misplaced Troy on.
The final
then?
exam was 10 multiple choice questions and and 7 essays, right?
Mm-hmm.
So y'all think I could write 7 essays and don't answer the multiple choice questions?
So where your paper was misplaced to, Troy?
Huh?
Where your
Paper
paper was
I
misplaced to?
told you what I had did was
Give me your
I
last homework. Let me show you where you answered 3 questions instead of 4.
my last homework.
Mhm.
What last homework?
That was misplaced too.
What you talking about? What's up?
Troy and me Troy and me feeling like I
whole
lost
file.
the papers to me. Oh my God, Troy was the how I lost Troy. What I do? And I say, you know what? You lost Troy. I emailed him. Telling him I gave him an opportunity to redo it. You didn't try to respond to me. That sounded like I said, Troy, just in case I may have made an error and misplaced your multiple choice, I want to allow you to come in and redo it
I
for me,
didn't see no
please.
email.
He didn't see no email.
Miss
And
Paulette,
last week
Miss
we had 4
Paulette.
questions for homework. He answered 3. I said, okay, this what he does. This what he does.
No,
Get
no,
over it.
No.
You don't gonna see no email but your final exam, and every day they're saying, how soon the results could be out, when we can get it, blah, 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 blah. You gonna see my email?
Yo, right.
You see it yet?
No, I
You
still didn't see
You
it.
still didn't see it.
That's why I started.
I lost the paper and I sent it to the wrong email
address.
address.
My work email address.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, I hope you better stick on me so I can do better this semester.
Yeah, don't worry, I can be on you.
When you
I
come?
can't afford to spend $150 to
Okay,
reset this
okay,
exam
okay,
again.
please. All right. So when you come, you say, Miss Bullet, you show me every question. I ain't want no mixing up. Tried my name all over the streets. Bullet lost my paper, this and that. I wear your homework. Let me see if you answer 4 questions. Let me see.
I ain't
if
answer
you
4 questions. I ain't even gonna lie.
Anyway. No, Troy, you lie. Troy, you lie.
Multiple choice questions.
And he rowing me.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
So if you chronic for doing this, if you chronic,
You have a history.
that you have a history.
It's a pattern established.
Somebody lock Troy up, please. Where my police friends? They here today. You lucky. You get free. One day in the cell for you.
I don't let that look.
And he still, he do it again and he's still rowing. My God, what I
I
tell you.
had to round because I would have had an 8. But like,
I was so proud.
Like they told
You
Miss
should see
Ian,
me marking up Troy,
like
but
they
I
told Miss
said,
Dean,
hey.
right? What I did was instead of me be smart and write the multiple choice on the same page on the forms that you gave us, I circled.
You want to cycle, Troy? You
I
want to do
circled.
it?
I did.
So where your paper was? You wasn't supposed to
I
walk
didn't
home with
send
the
it
people's
with-
final
I
exam?
didn't walk home with the final. We didn't carry the final exam.
Okay, so I had your
It was
paper.
put on the pile with the rest of the papers. I was the last person out that day. You forget it.
Okay, Troy, it was me. I'm sorry. I
Miss,
guess. I could do better.
Anyway,
I can do better. I've learned my lesson,
I'm not
Troy.
really, I said I did not put it on with the rest of the papers. I put it on the paper
I learned my
that you
lesson.
printed.
I was so happy that day. You should see me because you know he was the only guy in the class, so I was always stick with the only guy. But I was so proud of him, and then
You got 2 this
half
year.
of the test
Gone.
listen, because you know he say, man, I don't do enough. That's my A right here.
Thomas, but even if I didn't know the answer to the multiple choice, I had a 25% chance I was gonna get the right one. I was gonna guess something.
You was gonna guess it.
I was gonna guess something.
And he didn't even guess.
Who will tell me about Boston husband now?
Y'all stop gossiping, man.
I
That's
ain't
gossip.
gossip.
All right, Renita, take care. We'll see you next week.
I'll tell you to
Don't
gossip.
fail me. Don't fail me, Miss Bullet. Bye, Juanita.
Who will tell me about this? Don't gossip me, go research yourself now and be in and
Man, not on the streets. Say that's yes. That's yes. Everybody sign the register? All right, great. All right, see y'all next week.
Oh,
Okay, so, good.
plenty of work.
Plenty learning, plenty learning.
Stop.
like I said, I had printed the ones that I had done. This one was
Yeah,
I had on
Okay.
and then.
So you emailed it to me, I'll email. Okay, good. Hey, no more stories. This one emailed me a whole story. When I see her, when I hear she opened wrong, she should have put that after the paper because I clicked that email right down. And when she tell me that story, I just click it. I say, what is this?
No, but I have no idea.
You give it in?
Ms. Bullock, we gotta get over this typing thing, man.
No, Troy, anywhere you go, that's what you have to say. You must practice right here. Okay.
Troy, please move on.
Trying to read on, but it over
Okay, so after Monday, you put in my email on Monday, no more marking.
Along with, he hasn't sent me the conversation.
He's supposed to give you a link, so just go right over there and tell him please give you the link because you need it.
And
So
then,
after Monday, if no email, then no marking.
okay, my
It's the
thing
rate
is,
you'll get.
it's a big look at, okay, and then, you know, we use referring to, doing, notes, referring to citing what you think. I forgot what
The reference?
Yeah.
Okay, let me,
So
let
I
me
mean,
just,
but basically everything for me is from my textbook.
okay, you could just, let me see, because I
I
don't
remember I was
know.
asking you for a cheat sheet on it, let me just find it.
It's just called referencing. Just go
I've been
online.
in school a while.
Yeah, go online and Google referencing. So, say this was a quote, this right here was a quote. So you will put a little one there, and then at the bottom,
One down
in the
where it's
footnote
from?
one, and you will say, quote by Mrs. Bullard in ICA class, this date, whatever, or whatever the reference is. Like I read the FATF, Mutual Evaluation Report, and so you will say, I took the quote from there.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all, so but Google referencing and it will show you. Yeah.
Okay. So that's, I did my best with that, and I sat down for days trying to figure out what I was gonna give you.
You didn't get a copy of Michelle or Frederick's paper?
No, I don't want that.
No, I mean, just so you would know and tell
No,
you.
you
get
read
up.
it, you
Mhm.
read it, I mean, they read
Did
it.
it? Okay.
It didn't sound like anything that I didn't do at university.
See, okay,
So
okay, good.
I said, you look at it, what I've done, and I'll move from there.
Okay, okay, good. Okay, so send the rest so you
And
can
I
get
send
full
the
marks,
rest, yeah.
because remember you needed 20% to be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody could get it. Or see, even at the back, she just put the references.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so.
And I, this is really, this, like I said, I have a full life. I have a daughter, 10-year-old daughter, and
Yeah, it's difficult.
and
I
a
know it
husband,
is.
and an aging father.
Okay, so
and
good luck, yeah, because
responsibilities.
some of the other ladies in their class, had asked their husband, this is for 10 weeks. If you give me this 10 weeks of you cook, or you pick up the child, or you do one of my chores, I'll pay you back after
Yeah.
I'm completed.
He's good like that, it's just they have so much other responsibilities and they have a demanding job.
Yeah, so you have to
So-
stop something, because this is an investment.
It is,
And-
I do realize that,
Yeah.
because I am totally sold on it, it's just,
Yeah.
I try to balance how I can do
Yeah,
it.
work-life balance, so
So-
you have to give up something for the 10 weeks, or you won't be successful.
I wanna go on to the ICA,
Okay.
I wanna do my masters.
Okay, so, and
I
you
can
can do it, and that's
be here.
very excellent,
Right,
but
that is.
tell your
one thing.
husband, hon, what can I do for you to give me this extra time? I need the next 3 years now. Prepare him now, let him get used to it now.
He
The same
retires
to do
next
this.
year, which is
Oh,
like-
okay, so,
That's
what-
not next year though.
okay, but ask him
Halfway
now.
through, yeah. But
Is
no, I
it, do
told
you
him what I
pick up
wanna
and
do.
drop? Do you pick up and drop?
No, he drops.
Okay.
And I pick up, but I have to balance it because work is very demanding. Like I'm the oldest girl in my family.
Oh,
So I have
okay.
a lot of responsibility. My dad is 78, he's
Okay.
getting on, so it's all good. God to make a way.
Just pray about it too, yeah, and,
But I want you to.
but you have to have that balance, and you can't be, like, one girl used to have to pick up from school, and she came in running the class. It took her 1 hour to calm down and settle it, and she missed the whole hour of class. So
Yeah,
I
but
had to
see, like
tell her,
today-
ask her husband to pick up, and she passed.
See, and guess what? More than likely I will pass, but I have to handle my stress because I also have hypertension now. So my thing is, yesterday was my daughter's birthday celebration. She wanted to go to Fusion. I had to take up 3 of her friends. We were there from 2 until 8.
Oh my God.
And I took my book while I was there, but still, you know, it didn't work out. Then I get up this morning and other obligations. Her daddy dropped it to my sister. But still, it's just a lot. It's
But
with
you
my
have to
boys'
tell
face, I
some,
can do it.
you have to wind down and then pick up the book, and that's the only way you will retain it. But if you go from crazy to crazy to crazy, it ain't a stick. It ain't a stick. And then you won't be successful. So you have to say,
No,
I need some downtime, and I need to be able to do what makes me feel
I
good.
can't feel this. I
Okay.
can't go.
So
I
what
have
do
to
you like?
this by God's grace.
What do you like to do?
Go
Go to the beach, have a glass of wine. What makes you unwind?
I used to be very athletic.
Okay, so go for a jog,
Yeah.
come back home and relax, and then pick the book up.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to do it. You have to shut it. You have to shut it off.
Crazy, the crazy is not one.
Yeah, it isn't. It isn't.
It isn't.
It isn't.
Because I was supposed to have that paper done for you from Friday, from what? Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss.
Okay, take care. All right. She should be.